are you guys doing? It is time for this recap. We're so excited about this recap that we're going to do tonight. I am such a blessed woman to have my handsome husband joining me tonight. It is our anniversary. We've been married, 14 wonderful years. And thank you. To be honest, I gotta be honest. Y'all know I'm known for my honesty. I didn't even realize that today, I knew my anniversary was on the 20th, but I literally didn't even connect it. Like I didn't connect. Girl, you're doing a whole recap on your anniversary night. They didn't even connect for me. I just knew that I wanted to do this live and this recap on Tuesday. That's all I had. I didn't have no date, just Tuesday. So yes, periodically, me and Candyman may take a break and we may kiss. Deal with it. It's our anniversary. Okay? Period. All right. Again, welcome to the recap show for the world's largest stepping contest. We were in the building. We had a wonderful time. But before I go anywhere, you guys see at the bottom down there, I have got to thank my wonderful sponsors. Look at them. They're on the bottom. You see them? Guys, make notes of these events, these business owners. I need you guys to support them. You know why I need you to support them? Because they supported me. And I'm your girl, so I need y'all to do me that one favor. How about that? All right. Now, Candyman.
Yes.
How are you feeling, baby?
I'm chilling. I'm feeling good. Feeling great.
You're feeling great. Now, I wanted to thank my sponsors. I actually want to do a special thank you before we even go any further to T. Pratt and Andre Blackwell for the pre-party that was on Friday night. We had an amazing time. Thank you so much. Tanya Holt. Now, Tanya Holt has been calling me her redhead sister forever. I said, I can't even change the color of my hair because I don't know what she would call me. But I want to thank you so much for your love. Your hugs are incredible. Speaking of hugs, Pat Clay, let me tell y'all something. If y'all see Pat Clay coming your direction, run, because she's going to make you cry. If she hugs you, you're going to cry. You're going, why am I crying? You don't even know why you're crying. Pat has the best hugs ever, and I needed all of it on Friday night. So, Pat, thank you so much. It was a transfer of energy, and I thank you for that. Bashan Crystals, she gave me the cutest little mug. I should have brought it in here. Thank you so much for always gifting me something. Miss Crystal, girl, you already know I love you. Thank you so much for your love. My sugar babies, Josh, Nike, and Crystal. See, these people that I'm thanking, this is offline. Y'all don't even really know why I'm thanking them. Ain't none of your business.
But love, man.
I got like a whole lot. Keisha Reese, you know I got to thank Keisha Reese. I mean, you know, Keisha. Casper and Kim. Casper and Kim was where we stayed. They drove us around. They fed us. They entertained us. I cannot ask for more love from family than what Casper and Kim gave me.
Absolutely.
You guys may not know, but Casper is my cousin. So it was so much love. And so,
love them.
Right? So now I know I have somewhat, well, I've stayed there the last couple of years, but now I know if I come to Chicago, I got somewhere to be. He even gave me a car. Like, go take the car. Go what you want to go. All right. So I want to say thank them. The drops. We have to tell the drops thank you. Thank you. You guys know why. Thank you. Yes, the drops. Okay. And Helen Smith. Now, I'm thanking Helen Smith out of Dallas because she's just so sweet. Like, she took a bomb picture of me, so I just got to thank her. I mean, you got to thank people that get you a good picture of it. You know what I'm saying? So thank you so much, Helen. Thank you. All right. So we're going to jump right in. We have a lot of show tonight. And look, I don't want to do all the talking. Okay, anyway. So shut up. It's our anniversary. Be nice. All right. So we're going to go right into this show because it is so full of stuff. Okay. Now, you guys were in the building. You saw this for yourselves. The beginners. We got to start at the beginning. The beginners this year, it was awarded to Stuart and Candace. Now, a little brag time here. They're from Atlanta.
ATL shouting.
You feel what I'm saying? I mean, what else did you expect for Atlanta to come up there and show out? And guess what I do? Guess what I have? I have Stuart and I have Candace on the line right now. Candace is known as C. There she go. Hey, baby girl.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hi.
How do you feel?
Amazing, exciting. It was exciting. It's kind of surreal, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me tell you. Were you nervous at all?
Getting on stage, yes. On stage, we were just having fun.
I could tell, because if you would have told me, girl, I was nervous the whole time. I'm like, no ma'am, no ma'am. You got up on this stage like you had been there before. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
One thing I gotta say, Miss Thing, honey, you had that skirt twirling. I said that yellow and black. I said, oh, she better twirl this skirt. I mean, that skirt was talking. Do you hear me? Now,
hey, all that credit goes to Leisha. Leisha,
yeah.
Was it Taylor? Leisha Taylor?
Leisha Taylor with Taylor Effects. Shout out to my girl Taylor Leisha. Effects. Y'all definitely hit her up.
Yeah, she set us up really well.
Suits, dresses, all of that.
I mean, when I tell you, you guys demanded the stage. You came in with so much confidence to be beginners. I was like, y'all need to check out their records. I don't think these are beginners. No, I'm just because you guys were so comfortable on stage. Do you have any dance background, or is this the only couple dance that you know? Talk to us.
Well, for me, I know some ballroom. I grew up in Detroit and then later came to Atlanta. And then also I have like 5 years of salsa. So
there we go. What about you, Stuart?
So I don't necessarily have any previous dance experience, but I get the rhythm from my mom's side of the family. So my mom's from Chicago. So she kind of, was definitely into house music and things of that nature. So
man, I've always you throwing your leg up and everything.
Yeah,
you got some kind of experience.
Yeah, I definitely got.
Who was doing the daggone thing?
Background for it.
He really was. What was your inspiration in that little back shuffle? We were looking. We don't dissected your video, so it just in case you're wondering. The little thing you did with you were doing your little. I said, "Oh, okay." Who inspired that?
Man, that was a lot of work. I got a shout out to to Cheryl. To Cheryl Sugarfoot.
Absolutely.
She did an amazing job helping us get competition ready. Mm-hmm. And man, all three of us, we just put in so much work. We just dedicated so much time to preparing, to working on our dance, to enjoying ourselves. It was a total group effort. So it would be a disservice to her if we don't,
Absolutely. You went for one of the creme de la creme to be contest ready. I mean, come on. So I wouldn't expect anything less. Now, where did you start from though? Because there's some other folks taking some credit for you guys too. Now, y'all got several folks out here.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. So I learned stepping just bare minimum, straight out from class act steppers here in Atlanta. With Miss Deborah and Miss Carolyn, shout out to them.
Yes.
They taught me the basics, the foundation. I went to my first set at their party that they hosted. So I definitely got to give a lot of credit to them and to the instructors there that they have at those classes for allowing me to develop my love for the dance and introducing me to the music and the community. So.
Well, the community, we are honored to have you both. You represented Atlanta very, very well. Do you guys plan on going on that stage again? Or is it too soon to tell?
It's too soon. It's too soon. I do have to give some shout outs though.
Just go ahead, absolutely.
Shout out. Definitely, of course, class act. But I got my introduction to stepping in Portland, Oregon, out of anywhere else, Portland, Oregon. But I, got my good foundation at Class Act stepping for sure.
Thank you for shouting them out. We appreciate you. Stuart, I know you have to run off, so you can't stay long.
Yeah.
I thank you so much. We thank you guys so much for carving out a little bit of time for me, our tea sippers. They've been raving. You guys have been, you've been the talk of the internet. So we're very, very excited for you guys, and we look forward to seeing what comes from this duo.
Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys having us.
Listen, you have to come to all the sets in Atlanta with you. There you go. I like her.
Yeah, you earned it.
Where's yours, Stuart? Had to have it close by.
I'm not gonna say this was planned, but it just might have been. Just saying.
You know what I mean? So you guys make sure you bring it to all the sets. We all want to take a picture with you and the trophy. That's just how we do it.
Of course. You know,
the trophies will be out.
yeah. Ellery's this Thursday. It's going down.
It's going down. So hopefully we'll be able to come. We live so far from Ellery's, but hopefully we'll be able to come and show some love to you guys. So listen, take care. We'll talk.
All right.
Of course, always.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye. All right. That was awesome, right, baby?
Absolutely.
Like when we first started, would you have gotten up on the stage like that?
No,
I kind of did. I kind of did. Yeah, it was cool. So congratulations to the beginners. Congratulations to everybody that participated in the contest this year. Let's go on to the next people. We were looking for Drew. Wait. Hold up. Wait a minute. I think we got somebody, baby. And let me show you who I think we got. Let me show you real quick. Do I have? No, God, don't have it. Let me just bring them in. Oh my God.
What's up, Sean?
Sean
Hi,
Bandy is in the building. Hey, baby.
how you doing? How y'all?
I am doing good.
Fantastic. How's my sound?
Yeah, you sound good, man.
Listen, Sean, do this for me.
Man, can I borrow that jumper, man? You borrow that jumper, man.
It's so crazy, Sean, because we went to that seamstress, right? And he saw it hanging up. He immediately goes over to it and said, "This is some pimp shit, right? I will wear this." I'm like,
Wear that.
what? What you gonna wear it to?
That's some Antonio Fargas right there, man. Some real nigga baptized.
All you need is a ring and a gold chain. That's it.
Man, let me tell you, if I would have seen some hamburger meat half, that would have took me out.
That's the one.
That would have took me out, Candyman. I'm telling you.
Sean Bandy, baby.
Sean Bandy. I know Drew is on call, so maybe he got a call and couldn't join. And so we love you, Drew, so much. And I know you have other things that you need to do as well. So we're not going to take much of your time.
Mm-hmm.
Please let the people know whose idea were the outfits. Like, let's start at the outfits. Whose idea was that?
So conversations, and one of them was with a good friend of mine. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Quake, but he wrote the book, The Human Earthquake. So,
Quake Style.
He kind of, Quake Style. So, he said, "Well, this is what we used to wear," and so I go on the internet and I'm just searching up things, and I'm, hey, make sure you get your initials in there too, because this is what we used to do back in the day. I was searching, I found them outfits. I was like, we finna put this on.
Oh my God. It was so dope. Like, I totally loved it. Now, your hair.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was some stuff going around saying that wasn't really your hair. But I had to say, no, that's Sean Bandy's hair, because he wore his hair braided back on two sides. That is Sean's hair. That is not a lace front wig.
With the Superman curl in the front.
Always got to come to popping, man. Oh yeah, that wasn't no add-ons.
You didn't have no pieces in there, but if you did, it's fine. Your hair looked amazing. It did. I was like, wait a minute, is he rocking the hair with the jumper? Come on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you got, or don't come at all.
Right. And you came. Y'all came. I mean, the music was on point. Your steps were on point. Now, this is the thing about it. We're so new in the dance that we didn't really know what man on man is supposed to look like. Like we've seen it like at a party, but didn't really know there's like a cadence to this. There are like names of stuff. Like I didn't even know it was like a whole thing. Explain that to us. Like, how did you know the cadence? Who was your inspiration in that?
So who brought me to that culture was Janice. You know, when she brought me there, you know, Tony introduced me to more people in the dance. I just started making more connections, right? And so I to Janice and also the late Task Skippy, and his wife. And I studied those folks. Then you had people, Scorpio, Junebug, Taboo, Linda, Susu,
yes.
Yeah, and one of my partners, Roxy McKinley.
Yes. Cold.
So,
I
what they put.
One of the main things I have to ask, with you coming from the younger generation, right? And having to marry, if you will, the older generation and make sure you represent it well. Because, you know, you can't play with their stuff. Like, you're going to mess with that stuff, you got to do it. You feel what I'm saying? How did you build their confidence in that they could trust you, that you were going to deliver it with respect, if you will? How did you develop that confidence?
Well, that goes to my starting to dance. So when I first started my career, professional competition was in the old school category. So I was going to all the old, was getting toted around. Dale Davis was riding around with me. Then I met the Foxettes, and got folks like Dimples all around. And so I built a relationship with them.
Yeah.
And so with the old, I'm always a student. Can you hear?
There you go.
Okay.
You back.
Yeah, so I've always been a student of the dance. And when I was doing this category, I specifically reached out and wanted to understand what did this represent. And so in a lot of my conversations, I talked to a couple different people that really kind of gave me a good understanding. And so along the way, after the prelim, they were like, okay, if you're going to do this, you got to do it all the way. It can't be, you got to represent well. And so I've always given them respect and their credit, right? So even if I do something that is inspired by their moves or things that are native to their dance, I give them respect and I tell them thank you. Like, you know, like, hey, I appreciate what you do, and I'm picking up putting that. So it's all about the respect and how you do things in the dance. And I have a tremendous amount of respect because they got me really far in the dance. So.
And how important is that to you? If you had to say a scale of 1 to 10, and 10 being the most important thing, how important do you think it is for those generations to collide, if you will? How important do you think that is?
That's the 11, because what I don't care what you do in life, history will probably repeat itself, right? And so back to where you want to go, it happens, and it has to be some type of marriage, right? You got to pass it on, or either the picture is not complete and it's broke, right? Stepping took a turn back years ago, and it died out a little bit, and you had the disco era, and then it came, right? And so if we don't make the marriage between old and new, we ain't gonna have nothing, or we gonna have parts of the dance separated, right? And not a full spectrum. And the full spectrum, you can't beat that. Going into a set and you hear every kind of song you want to hear, got all the generations there, that's beautiful.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is.
had a young lady stop me during the actual contest, and she said, "T lady," you know, she said, "I'm in my 60s," and she said, "Look around this room. Most of the people that you see sitting are older, like in my age, you know, 60 and older." And she said, "Do you think stepping will die out?" And I said, "I don't think so." She said, "Well, what do you think needs to happen?" I'm thinking to myself, honey, I'm nowhere near an authority of this. I've only been dancing less than 10 years. But what I will say, I think, is maybe kind of, you know, changing the music up a little bit to kind of interest the younger people. And she was like, "No, but the music is part of the culture." And I'm like, "I get it, but how do you sell it?" You know what I mean? Like, how do you sell it to the younger community? Like my daughter's 31. She knows how to step, but what turned her off was the music. She was like, "It's old people music, right?" So it's like, how do you answer that question?
Well, it's a couple things to that, right? A lot of the music that my generation is listening to is all probably remakes, right?
Yeah.
You got, I mean, I'll just use Beyonce as an example. That's
Yes.
a remake of Frankie Beverly, right?
Yes.
You got people like ASAP Rocky that have sampled other folks. You got Marvin Gaye that sampled. And I think one of the most effective things that can probably help this is if someone, and I'm not saying who should, if you play the new version and the old version together.
Why did he just okay? Did his sound go out? He was hitting on a great point. Like you were hitting on a great, your sound went out, but that was a great point. Like, do whatever you did, do it again. Okay, whatever. He'll come back. That was an awesome point. Playing it back to back, maybe the old one and then playing the new one. You're back. Okay, so go ahead and finish your thought.
Yeah. So one thing, right? That can probably bridge that gap, because I think they don't even realize the music they're listening to is all remakes, and some of it's 2 and 3. You got artists like Biggie Smalls that wrote music. You have some now being remixed, like, and so it makes me think, like, yeah, I'm getting up there, familiar to me, right? And whatever we're familiar with, that's where you meet the folks. Some of them, whether they know it or not, they love old music, dancing to it. It's just different overlay, a different rap or a different R&B track. You got a lot of artists like Neo.
Yes,
wrote a lot that has been sampled by others. That's one of the most effective things, and I think the other thing is with the snatching the Band-Aid off. And what I mean when I say that, man, about the music, old and new, I'll agree on, and I think this is a ground rule. We want to go somewhere and have fun, right?
Yeah.
And we want to carry the culture, and I think that starts the conversation with compromise, right? Generation has to be in a accepting position to say, all right, I'll accept some of the things that you would like, and the old school generation has to do the same thing. I don't really like all of that, but we got to meet in the middle for this dance to grow. It's simple.
Yeah, you know? And like you said, we don't really know what that answer actually. I mean, we know what the answer is, but how do you actually make that happen? I think that's kind of where we are now. I think the conversation, at least the conversation, has been started. Now, you made a poignant point when you said history repeats itself. I'm sure that this dance has gone through this same thing before, right? When a newer generation comes in and the older generation starts to come out, I'm sure they've had the conversation, right? And eventually that conversation turned into, all right, guys, all right, we give up. Go ahead and play some of your stuff. You know what I mean? So the same thing is going to happen. I mean, it's bound to happen. It has to happen. And again, I think that's the answer to keeping the dance alive, if you will, right? Wouldn't you say? Okay, Sean, I know you got other interviews because you're just so popular. So I know
Wow.
But we love you. What am I saying? We thank you so much for taking out some time to sit with T Candy. Hopefully we didn't do too bad. You got anything to say?
Man, I just want to borrow that jump.
Let him buy it. Now he probably can't fit in this jumper. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Now Sean is thinner than you.
Except I'm gonna say that because you about the fourth person that had asked me for that jumper. So
really,
yeah, that jumper ain't play with.
It was tough, and the guy, I mean, the stitching on it was crazy.
Yeah, that's bold. That's real.
That was bossy, baby.
I'm gonna tell you, that guy Alpha, he done every time exception of one, I done got paid in the contest.
Wow.
Yeah, he good.
Oh, so he's a good luck charm.
Heck yeah, and he good at what he's one of them. I can give him what I want to see, and he gonna do all that.
Wow.
And then get done, I'm gonna walk in there and be like, "But I got to." You did that, you know. So
I mean, get a man his props, man. He cold. So anyway, I thank you so much for your time, sweetheart. You know we love you. Thank you. Bye.
All right, y'all.
All right, sweetheart. Bye. Oh my gosh, Sean Bandy, baby. What do you think about that?
Hey, I love that guy.
You love that guy right there? Awesome. Listen, we're going to go right into it. We want to talk to Miss Lolita and her partner, Showtime. I do not see them right now, so we're going to keep it moving. However, I do see now. Okay, hold on. Okay, wait. Okay, fine. I'll do that. That's fine. Okay, listen. The next person they want me to bring in is Miss Pat Clay. Now, Miss Pat Clay's screen is actually black. So we're going to go back out of Pat Clay for a minute. I don't know what Pat doing. Now, Pat, I don't know what Pat doing. Pat ain't on her screen. I don't know what Pat doing. Pat, where you at? All right, so let's go right on in. Now, the only reason why, now guys, turn your camera on. You two, turn your camera on. Now, the reason why, I don't know where they face it, but turn your camera on. Listen, the reason why I want to bring these two people on is because, first of all, I love them. I thought their outfits were amazing, and their screen is black too. So you want to go out of them? Are y'all over Pat House? Okay, there we go. There go. Erica, Team E-Win is in the building. Sip. There we go.
Phil must be taking a piss.
Can you call your partner and ask him where he at, please?
Yeah, man.
There he is. Wait. We saw it. Erica, say something so I can make sure I can hear you, baby.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hey, gorgeous.
What's going on? Hey, bro. What's good?
Selma, where you at, baby? Selma had the limit that I did, he had a whole backdrop behind him. What's going on with this backdrop, baby? You better come through. Now listen, you're listening to me on another device. Turn it on. Because I'm getting feedback. So if you're listening to me, do you have on your talking to me? Take the shirt. So if you're listening, do you have on your talking to me? Take the shirt.
I don't play no games. You know what it is.
I just love you. Thank you so much. Okay, the reason why I wanted to bring these folks on, and we'll talk about it later, but the reason why I wanted to bring these two people on, this is our first time. Somebody's listening to me on another device. Turn it down. Turn me all the way down. If you're listening to me on another device, please turn me down. All right. All right. So I'm still getting feedback, so please turn the volume down. Okay, listen. The reason why I want to bring these people on right here is their chemistry was automatic. It was an automatic thing that I saw with Selma that I absolutely love. I hope that you guys will come back next year. But what I want to ask you is, did you have fun? There we got feedback, but that's okay. Go ahead.
We did.
There we got feedback, but that's okay. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
We did. I mean, we had a great time. Great
Yeah,
time.
I had fun. The
Yes.
preparation,
Can you hear me?
building up to it, all of it was great.
Now, what we're gonna do, because you guys have feedback, so when the other person is talking, put your phone on mute. For some reason why y'all got feedback. I'm not sure why. Now, Selwyn, you actually won
Yes.
in
2018.
It's been that long?
It has.
Oh God,
Yeah.
that's so scary. So 2018, you took first place. So technically, this is you receiving your title. I know you got to come back because you got to show them. Listen, let me tell you, I got it once, I can get it again.
Hey, listen. Hey, I'm definitely coming back again. They get ready for that.
Is there any hard
They can
feelings
get ready for that business.
like that? Do you feel any kind of way? Just like, you know what?
No, you know. No, you know what? I mean, my personal opinion, I think we did well enough to place, right? Okay. We put a lot of work in, but when you're competing, if you don't win, I mean, it's a little downtime there that you need because it's a competition, especially if you're getting in it. You know, if you competing, you're competing to win, I would hope. Yes. And if you don't, then, you know, it's a little downtime that you need to kind of recuperate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I've been on both sides now because I had the same deal surrounding me when I won in 2018. It was people, you know, people thought that I shouldn't have won. People thought that I did a great job. So now I'm being able to see how it feels on the other side. You know, when you have a little something, it's the same thing this way. People felt like I did enough to win. And, you know, some didn't or whatever. So, I mean, I'm able to, I experienced both sides. So I definitely now I'm waiting on next year. I got some bones to pick next year. It's going down.
I love it. I love it. I love the competitive part of you. I love it. How do you feel, Erica?
Yeah.
How do you feel, Erica? It's the same for me. You know, I'm still ready to party, but you know, it is a little, especially when we had so much positive feedback and so many people were expecting us to win and had, you know, it was just a lot of pressure, and for us to not place, it was so. But I'm okay with it, you know. I've been in a lot of competitions where I didn't win or place. So, but yeah, it kind of stung a little bit, but we'll be back next year.
Are you guys going to do Texas Heat?
I can't hear you.
Don't know right now.
Okay, say that again.
Okay. I was asking what you're going to do Texas Heat. Your partner said he doesn't know right now.
Don't know about what?
Texas Heat.
Don't know about what? Oh yeah, that's still kind of up in the air. Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, listen, we love you guys. Selwyn, you're gonna stay on, right? Thank you so much, Erica.
Yeah.
You know I love you. You know we'll catch up tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, baby, love you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, baby, love you.
Okay, listen, y'all. Okay, I had to bring them on. I mean, I just had to. They were one of the ones that I felt that should have come. I'm just gonna call it what it is. I ain't gonna say which first, second, and third, but I felt like they should have come. I'm just saying. We'll talk about that later. But that's how I felt. Okay. So Selwyn, what I'm gonna do is have you go out. They want to find out why you're echoing. So I'm gonna take you out and let you and Nicole work that out.
Okay.
All right. Listen. Candyman, where we are? Where are we? We've spoken with Selwyn. We've spoken with Erica. Pat Clay is in the building. Listen, Pat. Hello, gorgeous.
Hey, beautiful.
That's Pat Clay. Remember, I told y'all, don't ever hug Pat Clay. If you don't want to cry, don't even let her touch you because she's going to make you cry. I'm telling you. Pat Clay, listen. There was so much hype around you and my man.
Chase.
What's his name? I done had too much drink already. Shout out. Chase. Wait a minute. Give me a sip. Hold on. There was so much anticipation around you guys walking this year. I was so excited to see it. I don't even know if I saw it. Like I was there, but I was just, now, tell us the backstory to you and him actually dancing, you and Chase actually dancing this year.
It's interesting that the way I've ever been in the contest is kind of the same story. I go to the prelims, expecting to watch, talking mad trash about her ever get in a contest. And something happens and I end up in the contest. That's essentially what happened. I came to watch. I was competing. I wanted to be there for Taylor. I wanted to be there for Sean and Drew. There to give them some support and talk a little trash and live stream. Right after they finished. Yeah, they finished all the categories. And Ian is about to come up. You know, I was saying all the things. And I saw Chase come into the frame, live streaming, and say, hey, you ready to do this? I'm like, no. And Pete came over. He was like, no. And then after Margaret and Rick, right before Man on Man, they were last minute contestants. They finished dancing. I hear Pete say, Cross, play enough. And he called me by my whole first name, Patricia, which I was like, oh, and I felt somebody take my phone from me. And and then that was it. That
slap the number on your back and push you out there.
Right, slap the number on
there. So I give all thanks for this whole experience this past month or so to Chase, because very much like Drew and Margaret when we competed in a trio years ago, they say that I didn't realize I don't believe in myself. Because I have perceived myself as a person who loves the dance and who is there's certainly a distinction. And I think Candyman with Tika, you said things and other people have mentioned it. I think Tony said some things about it too. There's performance.
Yeah.
It's totally different. You know, I mean, both require that you have strong technical skills, et cetera, et cetera. But there's something about being able to project something, you know, rows and rows back. And I have never felt that. I've always thought that my dance was kind of quiet and you kind of have to know me. I know, but I'm not even like, I'm not a modest person. I'm not a falsely modest. Have said that to every single person who's ever asked me to compete. I'm grateful to certain people who just don't listen to me. Out there, whether I think that that's the stage for me or that's the place I can be or not. It's really about Chase, not listening to a word I said. I said no. I trash talked him about smelling like coconut long boys. I'm like, you know, get your coconut long boy, blah, 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 away from me. And yet, any of that, he went and signed us up and put me out there. So,
well,
you look good out there.
You really did. We enjoyed just seeing you out there. I mean, For me, it wasn't about a win. Like, of course, when you do something, you want to win, but just some of the couple matchups, I was just like, this is just dope, period. I don't even care. Like, it's just the fact that they dancing together, you know? So I appreciate your candor in this conversation, and I appreciate you for just being you. I'm gonna just be honest. Pat, I've never heard a bad thing about Pat. Everybody says the same thing. If Pat touches you, you're gonna cry. It's just period. So just know that you have that gift. That is a God-given gift that you have. And so embrace that. The community embraces you. So I'm the type of person, I want to give people their flowers while they're living. Baby, you are a whole light. Do you hear me? Don't you ever change. You be your authentic self regardless. We love you. And if you ain't been told today that you're loved, baby girl, you are loved. Do you hear me?
I hear you. I hear
what you got
you.
Think?
And you know, I just love you guys. I've said it many times, you know, and
yes.
I do believe in genuineness and my genuineness. I think much as they understand how much I love, but I believe that true love in the community or rooted in you being authentic. So yeah, some things I know people about themselves. I don't talk about other people behind their back. And if I say it behind your back, you probably already heard it. I do believe that that's one of the healthiest things you can do is be yourself.
Yes.
And that anybody, no matter what happens, no matter what circumstances, you stay true to you, you're going to be all right. And so I'm grateful to you for doing what you do and doing it, keeping us so engaged and entertained, but also informed. And I know pluses and minuses to that trust, but I just love it. And you and Candyman, you just be there. You always be so damn steadfast.
I'm here.
I thank you. The space can be difficult at times, but I am embracing it. And people like you and so many of my other, like my T-steppers, are just amazing. It's just
she'll be all right, Pat.
I'm worried about it. You think I'm worried about it?
It's incredible. So I thank you, Pat. Listen, you can stay around because we got another segment we want to bring you in. All right, baby, hold tight. All right, now we have one other person we want to bring in. This is actually a surprise guest that I didn't know I was going to have tonight. It is Mr. Reese Unique Turner. What's going on, baby?
Peace and love. What's happening?
Man.
What's going on? Candyman, what you doing, my boy? Look.
Chill.
Listen, we are so excited to have you on. I brought up your name in an earlier conversation with the staff. I said I would love to talk to Maurice. You were definitely on my list for an honorable mention. But to actually have you on the show, I am honored. I'm blessed. Thank you so much.
It was a nice walk, man.
I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate it.
Look real cool out there.
Now, let's talk about this walk just for a quick second, because I know you got to go. You got to go skating or something. So it's going to be quick. Now, some of us were sitting in the audience stunned that you didn't win. And it's no slight on the person that won. Congratulations. This is not what this is. Congratulations to everybody that won. But we're just kind of being honest. We felt a little some kind of way. Like, if you could be honest with us, and I know you will, what do you personally think separated you from the win?
Well, let me just start off by saying that. So, because this I've been getting this question since I stepped off the stage and they announced it, right? Bobby and Sherry should have won the Walkers category, period, hands down. He did what the judges were looking for. So I'm just going to explain that real briefly, because this question, even my father asked me this question, right?
Oh, wow.
See, we always say this, and sometimes it can be a slight, to some degree, advantage for Chicago steppers, right? Because most oftentimes we are going to know every single judge, right? We know their style, we kind of know what they're looking for. So to me, that's a slight advantage, because if you are a person that kind of knows that and you know how to adjust your dance at that moment, as soon as you see the judges, you need to go, okay, let me adjust what I'm doing, because I know who they are and what they are looking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
But oftentimes, people don't really look into that. There are a few of us who take a look at that and go, hey, this is what we're going to do, and you adjust it on the fly. Most people don't understand that in these categories, this panel of judges this year was probably the best in about 8 years, right?
Really?
Now, they were the best, in my opinion, for old school and original.
I agree.
Okay, I'm not going to necessarily say they were the best for new school and beginners, but they were the best overall for this contest in its totality, right? The reason why Bobby and Sherry won, and they should have won, is because in the original style of walking, one step, two step, they did exactly that with grace and style throughout the entirety of the dance, right? I had no intentions of doing that. So I'm not saying that to take anything away from them, because again, I told Bobby, I called him up, bruh, that's what I'm talking about. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and I called him and told him, bro, that's what I'm talking about. You walked the hell out of Sherry, period, hands down. You should have won, in my opinion. And he did win. I had no intentions of doing that. So when people ask me, I say to them, yeah, Bobby and them should have won, because the judges were looking for the original style of walking, period, hands down. And they did that to a T, right? What my goal was, and like I say, the judges had no idea. They judged how they should according to what the criteria was. My goal was to back up what I have been standing for about the integration of the new school dancers and the old school dancers, about inclusion, right? And I said this previously on my live, even months before I competed. I said they need to see something different, right? Because walking in the door, young folks don't want to see 1-2 step. They're not going to gravitate to 1-2 step and to the original form of walking. They're not. But a person asked me a question this weekend. They said, well, if they're not going to gravitate to that, how are we going to allow for them to see the culture of walking in its totality? I said, because in order to do what I do, I still have to teach you the basics, fundamentals of 1 and 2 steps before you can do what I do. So you can't get around it. The method is still there. It's just what they are seeing to get them in the door and to have them feel like, oh, I want to do that. Let me tell you, there are so many people on the side that were of a younger generation that came to me and like, bruh, I want to learn how to walk now.
Yeah.
That was the whole point. And then on the flip side of that, guess what my old school people said?
What?
Why didn't you walk? Why didn't you really walk in this original? I had to explain to them. I had no intentions of doing that from day one. That's not what I wanted to do. We trying to continue this dance on. They not trying to see that or hear that. They want to see something that they can feel that they can engage in and do. But guess what? In order to do what I do, you still need to know the culture and the foundation of walking. You can't get there without me or someone teaching you that culture to do what I do. Period. So you're going to get it one way or another. I just have a different way and a different method of bringing you into that side of the culture. And that's what the point was. And I told my old schoolers that, and they, oh, okay, now I understand. Yes, it's time to bring some difference in the dance and something that they can attract to. period. And that's what I did.
How much time do you have? Because you need to stay on my panel. You need to stay when the panel comes. How much time do you have?
I'm good. Go ahead. I'm good.
All right. Hold that thought, Maurice. I got questions. So hold on one moment. Listen, my mind is going crazy right now because that is so much information that he just gave. Pat, do you agree with the information that Reese just said in terms of how you bridge the old school with the new school?
Absolutely. I agree with Maurice 100%. I actually just had an almost identical conversation with a group of friends because understandably we've heard a lot over the past couple of days about Contest Go. And I just agree with you. I tell Maurice, I agree with you 100%. Before, my goal in this dance is to inspire other people to want. I'm 64 years old. And I am appealing to. Oh, yeah. So for me,
we still at the 60.
So
we still there. We like, what?
Yes. And see who entered the dance later in my life, right?
Oh, Pat.
And
hold that thought, Pat. Hold that thought.
Go ahead.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. We got somebody on the line that we've been trying to get forever.
Get him.
One moment.
Go ahead.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Where you been?
Damn, it's showtime.
What? That's showtime, baby. That's spirit fingers, baby. Hey, babe.
What's going on?
How do you feel? Oh my God, how do you feel?
I feel good. You know, it's always a little disappointing when you don't play. You got to keep going.
Yeah. You're not giving up though, right?
Not at all. I got one or two more left in me.
I think the beautiful part about it is that, and I'm hearing that from a lot of, that's why I wanted to do the show a little bit different. I didn't want to bring in all the winners. I wanted to bring in some of the folks that I personally felt should have placed, you understand? But I wanted to hear their thought process behind it. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm not gonna do it anymore. And I'm not getting that sense from any of you guys. So that mad respect. Also, happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It is our anniversary today, so we'll never forget your birthday now.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you so much. I was looking for Lolita. I do not see her at all, but I do want to ask you, it was yesterday, who inspired your outfits? You guys looked amazing. Whose idea was it? I'm going to say Lolita, but you can go ahead and take credit. She ain't here.
First off, let me say this. I get out of wearing what everybody else is wearing. Last year, everybody had on blue. This year, so the outfit. We were gonna wear orange, and after we got some stuff, we said, "Well, it's not Halloween, so let's go with another color." Yellow. And actually, we're gonna wear yellow, right? So Lolita got her dress made for making my partner's dress.
Shout out her.
Amazing. Woo-hoo. So, of course, I figure I'll go pick up a suit. And I got a little gray suit. And we were actually, I was downtown, in the fashion district. And I saw that jacket. And I think I'm going to wear this jacket. Now, I had to run that idea past Lolita because I think that yellow was quite like her dress. But anyway, we pulled it off.
Well, Lolita has joined. Hello, darling.
Hello there.
Hello, we have your partner on the live.
How are you?
Listen, we wanted to tell you guys, I thought you did a fantastic job. You feel the same way, right?
Absolutely.
We felt your outfits were on point. You guys looked amazing. Showtime has already said he's not giving up. So are you coming back too, or is it too soon to tell?
Sure. No, coming back.
I like that. Do you think you guys will come back together? What you think?
We can't get
to do
you. You keep you yourself. We keep. So don't spill.
I'm trying to get the tea, girl. I'm trying to get the tea. I'm trying to get the tea. Are y'all coming back together or not?
Yeah,
but listen,
we'll let that be.
Well, I can wait on it. I'll wait on it. We are having some connection difficulties, but we love you guys both. Thank you so much for coming on and sip a little bit of tea with me tonight. Congratulations again. Everybody is a winner. So regardless of whether you got a trophy or not, everybody is a winner for even getting up there. So I commend you guys. I look forward to seeing you guys again. Do you think you're going to compete in Texas Heat?
We're talking about
Show it. Right. Open.
Well, hey,
to it.
I love it. I love it. I hope to see you guys at the Texas Heat. Love you both. Thank you so much, Showtime. I know you're just getting off from work. Thank you so much, Lolita. We love you guys tremendously. Thank you.
Love you, Vanessa.
Righty, appreciate it. And
nope. No problem. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Let's really get into some real good conversation. Y'all ready? I got my panel that is on the live. First person I'm going to announce, I'm going to bring Miss Pat Clay back. I'm going to bring my girl, Kersha Williams, on. What's up, Kersha girl? I'm going to
get it right.
I'm sorry, Kersha.
Got my teeth.
Yep. We're going to bring my Reese back. He's going to join our panel. We're going to bring Selwyn back on here. We're going to have a real conversation. Selwyn, the echo is coming from your end. So I don't know what you own. I don't know what you got going on over there, but your echo is going on over there. Listen, I wanted to bring this panel together because I really wanted to have a real authentic conversation about not just the contest, but the culture, the dance, the community. Reese, you hit on a very important thing that I wanted to come back to. And one of those things were the judges. You mentioned the judges. Now, Candyman and I had a almost blowout about judges. Now, in my opinion, let me see what it's saying. Let me see. Hello. Okay. So no, it's not. Hold on a minute. We got an echo. 1 second. Okay. So I wanted to bring and have this conversation. You actually really touched on it when it comes to the judges. Now, what me and Candyman was having a discussion. Is it fair that all of the they said it's fair. Hold on 1 second. All right, so it's somewhere up in there. So I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to bring them back. Listen, is it fair that all of the judges are from Chicago?
No.
Miss Pat?
No, it's not.
I don't even know who the judges were, so I don't know that. Is that true?
I think all of them were from Chicago. I could be wrong, but let's say this: the majority was from Chicago.
I will say this: I can't say whether it's fair or not fair where somebody's from. The clearer the criteria are, the less important it becomes somebody's zip code. The vaguer their criteria are, the more open they, the more somebody's going to have to find a reason why judges are, because they won't be able to go straight to criteria. That's my opinion. If I had my way, again, I don't think it's where you're dance and how well you know the criteria that the contest is seeking across the consistent understanding of what you're judging to. It's an understanding of what we're judging to. Because you think about it, you've read the criteria, right?
Yes.
Nowhere in those criteria does it tell you what you must do. Dance, but it doesn't tell you what that is.
It just tell you what
right?
you
2 or 3 things you can't do in some categories. You can only have one foot. But what does it tell you that is compulsory? What does it tell you that you must do if you hold yourself to X dance? If we were learning a waltz, we would have to do how we handle it is that's our creativity, right? There are certain terms. You have to do a rumba turn, or you can't say you're doing a rumba, right? Certain things you have to do in the way with it. There's certain things you have to do in the tango, or you can't say you're in the tango category. There are required things, and then there are things that are forbidden. We seem to have a little bit of a handle on what's forbidden, but we really have. I have not yet seen a as Maurice alluded to. These are the exceptions that you can do. How you put it together is up to you. Before that record is over, one turn, one move, one carousel, one whatever. Where you put them to execute that's up to you. But if you say that you're going to do things that are part of this dance, and I think that's when you don't have that clarity, it leaves you to find another reason why things happen the way they happen. And many people will go to some of the judges or geographical location of the judges, or just, and when there is nothing to fill that void, they will fill it with rumors, gossip, and resentment. That's my opinion.
And that is,
I knocked my own.
You all right? that's the thing, because when Maurice made the statement, he looked at the panel of judges.
Boom.
And he could determine from there what they would be looking for. Now, if you're fairly new in the dance and you ain't even heard of none of these judges, how is it fair that you're judged based on what? First of all, judging, of course, we already know, judging is very subjective. It's very subjective already to start. So how am I to know that this particular judge want me upright and graceful, where another judge may want me a little bit more jazzy? How are you to know that?
If you knew in the dance, you won't know that, because you knew.
Exactly.
You won't.
To me, you're having to conform, though.
But you knew. You coming into something. You got to learn what's already there.
Kersha, you over there moving around, girl. What you got to say? Kersha, girl, she don't drink up all her tea. All her tea's gone.
No, y'all. No, exactly what you just said. You're not going to know, and it's not fair. And like Pat said, there should be a set standard of what is allowed, what is required, and what they're looking for. Because if you don't know, it's going to look like it's fixed, like it has been looking for quite some time. You're going to continue to have people upset and say they got the winners wrong, and it's just going to continue with a whole lot of unnecessary confusion.
And I think that's what we're dealing with now, because so many people were outraged with the again, shout out to all the winners. What we're saying is there was just a lot of disappointment. I mean, we were like,
can I chime in on that?
Yes, please.
Okay, so understandably, there is, you can call it a hidden, idea, whatever the case may be, but understandably, we can say this across the board. We all understand that, if you truly want to understand the culture of Chicago, you need to go to Chicago. So, understandably, at that particular point, we just know that, okay, hey, there are some additional, how do I want to put it, like, people in Chicago sometimes have an advantage on both sides. The judges have an advantage to a certain degree, and some of the contestants have an advantage to a certain degree. But that's with anything that you're going to do. There's never going to be 100% complete way to do this when you are judging, because, as you said, it's subjective. So every year, that level of subjection varies, right? So the best that you can do is put a common ground in there and go from there, and maybe tweak something here and there every year. But in this game, that's really what it is. You just have to put your time in. And once you start putting your time in, then you'll start to understand how the dance is, and then you'll understand how you start to need to tailor what you are learning to what they're asking for. Because there's some blurry lines in the contest ruling. There always have been since we started. And every year it gets tweaked, then some things get taken back, and some things get removed because the times are changing. Every year there's somebody says, oh, I don't think they should have won. That's why the best that you can do as a contestant is put as much tools in your bag as you can, so that your dance is very well polished. And then at that particular point, you can give it your best shot. Because I keep trying to tell people, the contest don't make you the coldest person and the coldest dancer. That's the first thing. The second thing about that is, when you are competing, it's like any given Sunday. So you need to understand that this is a competition. It's dance. It's a dance. It's also something that you need to have fun at doing. Yes. And then you need to get out there and say, hey, let the chips fall where they may. I gave my best. You could have been the best of what you did that day, and the judges might not have seen that. It's okay. You still won because you learned something from that year. Next year, let me rewind. Come on back with something else. Because let's just take a look at this, right? The main reason why there are so many repetition of winners is because of the work they put in. And you can look at that from the beginning. So that's just the honest to God truth. When we got in it, we had to come up the ranks, just like anything else. You had to put the work in. Now I can go up. In the beginning, I didn't know who all the judges were. Now I can go in and be like, oh, I know what type of dance they do. Right? But that's me putting the work in, getting out, this, that, and the other. The out-of-towners come in from out of town, but they come here any other time and dance. They're around people that do this very exact same thing that they're looking to do and how they're looking to compete. So yes, of course, you just got to work your way up, but put more tools in your bag. Stop believing that just because your instructor is whomever they are and they've won X amount of time, that it's your rightful place to have won. No, it's any given Sunday. Go there, give it your best. Hey, it just might not be that time. Try again next year.
How do you talk to or reach an out-of-towner that and I'm being honest, you know, on this show we talk, we have conversation, okay? We don't get our feelings, we have a conversation. How do you deal with how do you deal with a situation where an out-of-towner feel that because everybody's from Chicago that it's biased? Now, that's one side of the coin, but the other side of the coin is this is a national dance now. It's not just a Chicago dance. So why do you not have representation nationwide?
Let me say something about that right now. This dance is not to sway you. This dance is not to sway you to join us. You got to already want this.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people will tell you this is a way of life. Stepping is a way of life. You got to want this. You got to hear the music different. You got to see the music different. You got to stay with us in a square. You got to know what a square is. When they say stay in your square, don't knock me out my square, you got to know what that is. You got to want this. You can't just see it and say, ooh, that looks cool, let me try it. Because it's a lot of shit that comes along with stepping. It ain't just, it's a lot.
But what if the out of towner okay.
You can't just dip in because you're gonna get your feeling hurt. You get up there and just say this. Oh, this look cool. You got to go in with somebody who knows how to do this dance, like a Maurice, like a Claudel Jackson was up there. Goddamn judging,
I was like,
man.
Claudel
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Lord.
These are people who know this dance.
But what about the people that don't care about the culture? What about those?
Don't compete.
There are some people.
Don't compete if you don't care about the
I'm just going to interject something because I hear a lot, and I've been stepping since 2000, which in Chicago, I haven't been stepping but 15 minutes, right? In this city, that feels like that, you know. But I'm going to say this because I do hear a lot of out-of-towners versus Chicago, where the biases are. As a person who has lived in Chicago the entire time, most of the time that I've been stepping, I've lived here in Chicago, except for brief places other. I mean, if we broaden the prism, I don't think that that's necessarily all that we're talking about. Because within Chicago, there are people who debate who's being chosen and who's just Chicago versus someplace else. Even within Chicago, there are people who, because of their dance style, doesn't match this preferred dance style of whoever's judging that particular. I don't think it's I wish it were as simple as in town and out of town, but it is that even exists within Chicago. Do you know what I'm saying? So
that's the whole west side, north side, south side.
It can be west side, south side. Who does spins versus who does footwork? It can be people have in their heads about what constitutes the dance, what constitutes the true dance, virtualizations of the dance.
Okay, so you have all these different elements, Pat.
Yes.
How do you guys expect an out-of-towner to understand your thought process? You got four different sides.
I don't
That's why you got to put your time in, like Maurice said.
You
got to put your time in. You got to come in.
No. Can I stop? Can I? Hello.
Yes.
Because I understand. I'm gonna respect your opinion about putting your time in, fellas. But listen,
I didn't say that.
I said fellas
because I've seen walk away with trophies. So I never.
No. Listen,
that's not.
I said
my opinion about
my respect the time. But here, the thing here is either going to be a stepping contest or not, regardless to where you're from. You can't open it up to everybody. And like you said, Pat, if you're not going to have set requirements of what is required to do in this dance and what you can't do, it should not matter where you're from. It shouldn't matter how long you've been dancing. Because guess what? If I was a born dancer and I come out there and I slam it that night, I should win. It don't matter how long I've been stepping. It shouldn't matter how long I've been coming there kissing behind, for lack of a better way of saying it. None of that should matter. If I slammed it that night, I should win, point blank, and the period.
I think there's a piece that's missing from what you're saying. It is almost impossible to be great at anything if you haven't put some time in. You're going to be great at it.
Exactly.
Why does it feel? Okay, it's a lot. Okay, so why does
much
it
time
feel,
I can't say.
Why does it feel? Okay, it feels extremely biased. I mean, when I tell you to out of towners that people from Chicago may not feel this way, but from us out of town, it feels like, why do we keep doing? Literally, why do we keep subjecting?
And why I gotta travel all the way to Chicago if I'm learning it outside of Chicago just to be accepted?
It's not about acceptance, bro. It's not about acceptance. It's about you learning the culture in its original form.
That people are getting. They feeling like if I don't frequent Chicago and dance the way that they dance, then I'm not gonna have a chance. That's what the people on the outside are thinking. That's what they're thinking. That's how they feel. And that's her point she's trying to get across.
The best way I can describe it, the best way I can describe, let's say I want to learn the Argentine tango, right? Because for the Argentine tango, I can learn the Argentine tango in Canada, in Japan. They got a large population of people that do it there. Russians are loving that, you know, Ukrainians are loving that dance. But when and you see the dance the way it was created before, it was kind of all. Remember when hip hop was New York and everybody was dancing on pieces of cardboard? They had those competitions, and this is about where we are in stepping, where they were with that. Like when people from Korea was doing choreographed hip hop, right? I don't care how many skills those people had. I don't care how many flips and tricks they could do. Thing where it felt sterile to the purists, because that was authentic and came from your soul, not something that came from counting out your steps. It do have purists here who are going, I mean, many of them are dying, right? Feeling impending death. They are feeling the death, not of only of themselves, but of the with such passion for. And they see the variations happening so quickly because now you've got people who are Latin dancers bringing Latin into it. Chicago versus Detroit thing. When Detroit was bringing ballroom and Latin hustle and grace in, I mean, that's an act. I call it an accent. They dance with their local accent. It does have a very distinctive accent, distinctive flow. You see the crowd doing this and that when they're dancing. If you go to certain clubs, it's like everybody is breathing in the same breath.
Yes.
Learning with a different accent, an LA accent or a Alabama accent or Detroit, feels like not exactly stepping. It feels sort of like,
it feels like it's something else. I remember on another platform, they were talking about, if you're not going to do it the way Chicago does it, then you should call it something else. So if we live in Atlanta and we got a different sway to our step, that ain't right. First of all, that's wrong. You shouldn't even be doing it that way, even though we're from Atlanta. Oh, okay, let me just say this. And I say this before. You know I got to say it. Excuse me. Listen. We from Atlanta. We bankhead bounce here. We twerk here. Our dance ain't gonna look nothing like Chicago's dance, right? But how you gonna say I'm doing it wrong? You know,
but that's sort of a different thing.
You're doing it wrong. But wait a minute.
I don't use words like that. I agree with you on that. I don't say it's right or wrong. I just say it's different. And I don't words or playing semantic games. I literally mean I see a different flavor, and I know that there are certain purists, if they don't see it the way they do it, they will label you wrong and you about that.
And that's not right.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Kershaw.
No, I was just saying what she's saying, and that's not right.
You feel what Pat? I'm telling you.
Claudel Jackson he's one of my mentors. Claudel Jackson himself told me one time, it was going to say it to me one time only. You want to go out here and teach this dance? It's simple. Or to criticize somebody's style. That's not what you hear. He told me that, and he was only going to say it once. I was having some discussion. Since when should you be teaching them their style? Teach them how to do the dance and let them dance. He was adamant about that. And I never lost what he said. I never lost. So he told me that, and I've never forgotten it. I agree with you completely that we shouldn't be dictating. Let me take the we back out of that. There's hundreds, maybe thousands of us. Every time I hear people say Chicago, they're usually talking about a half dozen people. And those half dozen people don't dictate the dance for every. So I'm going to say, be careful when we use the words they or Chicago, because we're talking about a handful of people.
That's
all I got to say about that.
That was, listen.
Pat is a guru.
Maurice, jump in right now. I need you to jump in, and I need you to be the catalyst between Chicago and out of town. And I know you got a lot of so
I agree with what Pat said, and I understand what the feeling is from you all, simply because I've taught thousands of out of towners. I prefer to teach out of towners. Realistically, I've always had. But this is one of them things where there's always going to be a gray line, because it's all subject to each of our opinions, right? But let me just ask you this question, right? Because again, I enjoy teaching out of towners more because of this one thing. Most people from Chicago feel entitled, or that they know the dance even before they really know the dance, because they say they from Chicago. That's why I always say, I don't give a damn if you're from Chicago or not. If you don't know the dance, you don't know the dance. Stop throwing that around. And that's why I say I agree with Pat, because most of them are only talking about a handful of people when they say we from Chicago. Sit your ass down, right? That's not it, right? But if you have traveled, there is a distinct difference in the feel, the energy that comes from when you are in Chicago dancing, and when you are in Chicago amongst a high level of dancers, in comparison to when you are in other states. There's no ifs and ands, buts about it. And that small little thing is what I'm referring to in your tool bag of learning. Because it's that feel that you're searching for to get to that high level, in which, like it or not, it's still in Chicago, it's still greater than any other place. So when we are referring to judging these competitions, and again, they have tried bringing in out of town guests. They've done that. I'm not saying that you still shouldn't bring in other people to judge. I'm for that. But even in that, you still want them to embrace what you're looking for, and that criteria is always gray. And we just trying to get better at it. But you still need to understand, as an out of towner, that in which you're looking for is here. It's there in Chicago, period. And if you don't understand that, and if you can embrace that, and I'm not saying that there might not be a couple people, one-offs here and there, that have discovered or have that it factor from somewhere else. But when you do the numbers and you do the research, it's been more prevalent in Chicago. And again, I'm not saying that it's completely right. But when we're going to this competition, let's not act like we don't know what it is before we get in it. That's out of towners. You know what time it is. If you learning the dance, you hear all this beforehand. This ain't just, oh, I walk here, oh wow, this is how they do it. No, that's not how it happens. That's not how it happens.
Can I be real for a second? The majority of the people that's in that room are from out of town.
Boom.
Let's call a thing a thing. The majority of the people that's in the audience that's buying tickets is from out of town.
Are they competing?
But the dance
are they competing?
They're not competing, but they're supporting the people that are from out of town. It ain't a room is full of Chicago. Why aren't you catering the out of town?
No, man. You're see now you have transcended to something totally different, right? And the reason why I'm saying that is because when you are talking about people who are in support, if I went through the contest, through the audience, right? I can go to each table in that audience and pick out one, maybe two good dancers at each table that really understand the dance, that can really break down what you're actually looking at. So you're talking about another 8 people. So 2 out of 8 people at every table really understand what they're looking at. So that particular thought that you're having right now, we're not talking about them. We're talking about the actual dancers. The dancers are what matter. These participants that are looking in and supporting them, yeah, you need to start learning more about the history of the dance, and you need to start learning more about what you're looking at. That's part of the reason why after the contest is over, you got a mixture of people talking about some, man, I thought such and such should have won. And I could be on the other side with 10 other true steppers saying that was some bullshit. And they'd be trying to figure out, why do I say that? Because you don't know what you're looking at. And unfortunately, that's more of the case right now. The dance is already watered down. And then we have people commenting on it that don't understand what they're looking at. You think because it's all flashy, oh, they cold with it. And you got the whole panel of judges up there that's like, what the hell are you doing?
But why can't it be that though? Why can't it be the flashiness? Why you think about when you go to a dance competition, you are intrigued by the flashy.
But they judge,
you know what I'm saying? Like
they judge a step. Cause Will should have won that goddamn Dancing with the Stars, but his ass was bouncing in the damn
on the foxtrot.
On the foxtrot. So you know, yeah, if you bouncing on the foxtrot, you can't win. But it looked good. So it's kind of like that. You can look good, but if you're not doing those steps right how they think you should do them, then you're not gonna win. Period.
Kershaw, what do you think, baby girl? I know it's just like it really feels like I'm serious. It really feels like the out of town people are just.
Pat said it, and I'm gonna keep saying it, and I'm gonna keep saying it. And Maurice, I hear everything you say, and I agree with what you're saying, but I agree on another level because once again, you cannot say that this is what you're looking for, and I do that, and it's because I don't do it the way Chicago's do it. I don't win. Pat said there should be a set, and they don't have that. It's by judge. So again, I'm looking at some of these comments. People like, well, majority of the people that learn stepping have learned from somebody from Chicago because Chicago people travel to teach. Yeah. They travel to teach. So the majority of people that have learned it from. So what are y'all talking about? I'm confused. I'm confused.
Maurice, please explain, because that was my next thing I was going to bring up. We wouldn't have known this dance had y'all not brought it to us. So if we're doing it wrong, you talk.
Hello.
See this? Here we go. We're gonna be going into
everybody that's
going into 50 different.
It's some of these people that you are referring to that do it in the original style.
Maurice is concentrating to us.
There are going to be 50 different variations of this very exact conversation, and ultimately, I'm gonna try to speak for Pete in this aspect, because even before him there was a Mary Green, right? If you can figure out a way to judge this contest exactly like you're asking for it to be judged right now, please help us get to that way, because you would not be able to at this particular point find a particular way to judge this 100% right. It's all subject. So the best thing you can do is try to meet it the best you can to what you know and what you are getting from the contest. That's the best thing that you can do, because somebody has it figured out, obviously, because majority of the same people keep winning. And it ain't because they from Chicago. It's not.
What?
How many times have Drew won?
Wait. Kirsten, you all right there? You all right over there? I'm just letting you know how the out of towns. We're being honest. We have a real conversation. The way it looks to us is that there is a clique and they always gonna choose the same people to win. Now that's how it goes. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just telling you how it goes.
Scorecard.
Tika, you're making a different point now. If you're saying there's a clique, that's not a geographical clique. Not talking about Chicago versus anything. Because if there's a clique and they all tend to others dance and half of, I mean, how big is our circle? It's not that big. How big is not that big. Everybody on that judging panel knows at least half, and at least half of the people who are winning. So there that you can't avoid because we're in a small group. We're in a small pool. So if they're a point, because to Maurice's point, we have certain people not win repeatedly. And they zip code don't start with, right? We can name them, but we know that there are people who are not from Chicago win consistently. So, but I understand what you're saying. They may not also be, and they may not also be from, Texarkana or something like that. To the point that's being made and is kind of being touched on, there was a question asked. And I'm going to blend 2 points. One is the question I heard asked, and one is what Maurice said. You cannot make it 100% objective. That is going to. I agree in part with that. I believe that it cannot be objective because we are measuring art, and art in and of itself, subjective viewing, what you think, what you feel, not just technically. But I do believe that. So the question I would ask is, what percent right versus objective? And I think that's where you start touching on what needs to be. If we had a scale, if it's 100% judging, right? If I'm just you guys, and I include Maurice in this, what percent do you think subjectivity, objectivity meaning something measurable, versus subjectivity, what you like? Now, where do you think it is? I will put mine out there. I personally write about 80% subjective and 20% objective. And I think the only active are to some degree appearance, because Pete makes it clear you don't just measure it about whether you like their outfit. He makes that, so I think that allows for appearance to be a more objective criterion, because it's adjusting your straps on your clothes. Is your hem coming loose? Are you showing your panties? Is you tugging on your garments or things like that? Are they getting in the way of your dance? Do the outfits coordinate with one another? So that allows for a little more of an objective judging of that particular category. But when you have a category footwork, or you have a category like showmanship, or even the category originality, which until I judged, I thought it meant how original your dance was compared to others. And then I couldn't understand the difference and whatever that other category is. I was like, what's the difference? And it was, are you doing the original dance? I did not know that until I judged. But are you doing the original? That somebody have criteria about what the original dance is? What's the difference between school? Because I've seen Ty Skippy win new school, right? Who I know can't dance old school, win old school original. But I can't complain about nothing that says they can't. The year I started stepping, I saw from the year before in polka dots and disco outfits win first place in a steppers contest. They did disco dancing the whole time. There was no stepping happening. But there was nothing that said that pattern, that foot pattern is not stepping. So to your question, like if you can make it better, how do you make it better? If you know what that dance is, we don't need paper, we don't need book of that because we have videos. There are only a few foot patterns that are considered foot patterns, old school ones and new school ones and walking. Why can't be recorded? And this YouTube channel that just has criteria on it, and all contestants have to go there and all judges have to go there. And if you don't, then you know it's not that dance. How you put it together, but where are the actual criteria that says this is a step and foot pattern, and this answers the question about you're from out of town, you're not doing that dance?
But you know that's not gonna happen. And I gotta go back to your four sides: South, North, West, East. If I am a judge, and let's say I'm from what they call it, the low end. I don't even know what that means, but I done heard. Okay. So I'm from the low end. Now, in the low end, our footwork look a certain way. Where on the west side, that footwork look a certain way. Now, it's
I'm
all
talking about the
still
footwork.
stepping.
I'm talking about the foot patterns. Okay, like take me. I'm from LA.
Wait, hold on a minute. West side Mike, I ain't seen a foot pattern yet, but he can dance. I don't see it because I don't know what I'm looking at. But he's from a whole different side. It doesn't mean that he's not doing Chicago stepping. So to your point, if the judges have a criteria of what the foot pattern is supposed to be, how could they take that criteria and judge somebody like a West Side Mike fairly?
I think you can. How quick his feet are moving, and it's another thing about how he's leading. And I don't care how fast Michael Bush's feet can move a mile a minute, but I still understand his lead. And as a judge, if he still stays on pattern, then you can't be a judge. Because I can still with Haywood, then I can dance with Michael Bush, then I can dance with Maurice, then I can dance. Understand that all of those styles, as diverse as those styles are, I understand of their dance. Judges, if a judge is a good judge, they can understand there's a common thread running through there. There's a guy named Vince that danced on the west side. You would think he was crip walking. One of my favorite dancers. It doesn't look anything like anybody else. But his timing, that dance pattern, he could do all kinds of stuff with his feet, but I still know what he's doing.
He better not get up on that stage. He better not get up on that stage talking about no compete with them folks up there, because they're gonna be like, that ain't what he's supposed to be doing. Okay, listen. Selwyn, you down there quiet, baby, but I see you shaking your head. What? I got to get you in on this conversation. Talk to me.
So listen, one thing I think a lot of time we missing, and it's real simple, and it's called styles. I mean, everybody that started something or this, they want to say this is the original of something. And I think stepping, bopping, all of that comes under another umbrella, because so you take the style that Taboo them does this and that, you hear them say a lot, this is the original style of this. But one thing is for sure, I don't think it can be the original style because so few people do it. So if so few people do it, how can you call it the original? It's just under the umbrella of something else. You understand? And that's why I feel like it's so many different styles. So even when you say old school and you say new school, it has nothing to do with years. It's a style. So if you learn the style that they call old school, which is not a lot of turns, more dancing, then that's your style. If you learn the style of new school, which is more dancing and this and that, you take that style and then you make your own to it and you create. You understand me? But that's the umbrella that you're under. You understand? So to me, it's real simple. I've been watching the dance since 1989. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why my style is more of that. You know what I'm talking about? And it's more from that music, right? So it doesn't matter, even with the music, the changing of the music now. One thing is for sure, they can change the music, make it faster, do whatever they want to do, but the soul doesn't come with it. The soul is in the old music. So when you have the soul, it brings out the dance. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's just me. It's just my opinion. You could dance to anything. In Mississippi, where I grew up at, we did the 2 steps. We ain't had them other 6 steps. That's all we had was 2 steps, side to side, and we danced to blues music. That's what it was in Mississippi. But my people were back and forth to Chicago, so I grew up in the summers there, 63rd and Carpenter, where my auntie them bopped in the basement. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what I grew up watching, right? That's why some bopping and stepping, the only difference is the music. So you take the original walking or whatever, the music was different. So a lot of the slower music that they have now, you won't see those guys too much walking to that. Because the music you're talking about in the 60s or whatever, you had, oh, what a night. Doom, doom. So the walking was different.
Right.
Now you have some shit that is super slow. You can't walk to that the same way. Right? You'll be out there looking crazy. You understand? So when the music changes, it's no different than when the music changed from that swing they did on Malcolm X movie to bopping or whatever. Styles change because music changed. And then to me, that's the eras, right? Only a few people that do the dance like Taboo did there. The man on man, man on woman, whatever you want to call it, that style. It's still, to me, the left foot lead. That's what Dre does to this day. And he can do it to whatever music. You understand me? If it slow down, he could do it. If it get fast, he could do it. Or whatever. So that is a style to me. The new school is a style. If you pick that style, if you like it.
Speaking of style, Maurice, you're known for having a very unique style. How have you been able to be so successful in getting the respect of the old school of original and very relevant in the new style of dancing? How have you been able to do that, sir? Because you've been able to do it. How? Teach us. We want to know.
Well, I just talked about that the other day. And let me say this. So, Selwyn, we might know each other family because you grew up on 63rd in Carpenter. I was on 67 in Carpenter. And you might know, we might have some family lineage alike. So we'll talk about that. Yeah. But to answer your question, Tika, so in these styles, and I agree with Selwyn with this as it relates to the styles, there are, different styles. For me, and I'll preface something else you said also as it relates to judges. I'll kind of touch on this too, right? So for me, I watched bopping jitterbug with my grandparents, right? I wasn't interested in it back then at that particular point in time. By the time I saw it, it was right before, quote unquote, the era of new school. So by the time that I saw where I wanted to do it, we're talking about 1994, right? So contests have been going on. The world's largest have been going on 3 years, I think, by that point or so. So when I started getting into the dance, the reason why I'm able to, in my opinion, to kind of go from generation to generation, there's only a few people, and I was explaining this to some people the other day. Dre has a style that will transcend generations. Tickman has a style that will transcend generations. Drew has a style that will transcend generations. But one thing you have to understand about those individuals, they are one-off individuals, right? And they have the it factor, but they also have the work put in, right? So again, when I was learning, and I shouldn't say learning, when I was teaching myself, right? I'm going out with all old schoolers at the time. When I first learned, my dance changed 3 times. By the time I started getting in with the little more younger, and that's why they always say me, Drew, and Dre are kind of in the middle, because when we came along, there was a gap of the old schoolers, and then this new generation of turning came into effect. But there was a gap because the older people didn't want to do all the turns and this, that, and other. So the stepping community in Chicago separated. It also was along that time in that era where the out of town picked up, because there were people like Dave Max, Dre, myself, people like Daryl Davis going out of town teaching people how to step. So at that particular point, again, now you have this generational gap. So then here come quote unquote new school. But at that particular time, we were already dancing old school. We just acquired the new flavor. But there are one-off individuals that kind of transcend those generations. You don't really see a lot of that. And there's a big reason for that. Dre, and just like what Selma was talking about Dre, right? Dre, in my opinion, so, and me and him have talked about this, Dre is not a natural stepping type of dancer, right? Dre has put in the work and have made what he does great. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Then you have natural dancers like Drew that dancing since they were 2 years old.
Right.
So they understand how to encompass styles, genres, and move forward on through that. But we're talking about one-off individuals. So again, we're talking about out-of-towners and this is that and other. We still have to understand that there's so many different styles in place. And we do have to understand that, hey, people from Atlanta gonna do it different. When I go to teach in Detroit, they do it different. When I teach in Florida, they do it different. When you go to California, they definitely do it different. When you go to St. Louis, they definitely do it different, right? But if all of them are stemming from, like Selwyn said, an umbrella of Chicago, then more than likely you're gonna get judged more from a Chicago style than you are from any other, because that's where it is in its original, closest to its original form. That's not saying that you can't learn from out of town and get it and be spot on, but again, I keep prefacing this. How often and how over the period of time can you give me those individuals and give me those in numbers that are able to compare to Chicago-born based numbers? It's going to be a gap there. So again, I'm not saying that it's completely right, but again, until we get it down pat, and I'm for it. But we can always try to get it as close as possible as we can. But you still are competing. If you don't go to the sport, you got to understand what sport you in. You got to understand how they are already doing this sport.
That's what he said. He was like, you gotta understand if you're gonna compete.
And you can't come in and, hey, look, if you're gonna get good at this sport and what they do and how they doing it, and maybe you could be another one-off individual that can change or curve the criteria. Everybody can't be a LeBron James.
Yeah.
Everybody can't be a Steph Curry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't be a game changer, a trendsetter.
So let me say this. Let me say this right quick, Reese. First of all, I think not enough people will say, especially when it comes to the out of towners, that they need to understand everybody in Chicago, goddamn it, can't dance. Let's get that straight right now. Just because they've been around the dance for years, let's get that goddamn straight right now. All of them can't dance. You understand me? So just because they in your city, your state, and they hollering, I'm from Chicago, don't mean goddamn it, you supposed to jump on their bandwagon. So first of all, out of town people getting a whole lot of wrong information. You understand what I'm saying? And that's been happening for years. I've been around the dance in Chicago for years, since I was 19. You understand me? So I knew how I wanted to look because I knew what I saw. You understand me? So that's why it's so important. Even the out of town, the cities, the states, it doesn't matter. You have people who are natural dancers and you have people that can pick this dance up, but it still has to have a basic of the original styles. I don't care how you do it, how you dance, or what do you add to it, you still should be able to see some type of originality. Mm-hmm. And if you can't see that, then you're probably not doing what they call stepping. You're doing something else. And that's okay if you want to do something else. So when you hear people say, well, don't call it stepping, then you probably should give it another name. If it doesn't have no originality of where it came from, then you probably just should call it step or something, some shit like that. But it has to have some basic of originality. You can't go into the Atlanta Falcons football team and then give them orange and blue jerseys. That's not their fucking color.
Not at all.
I mean, you understand what I'm saying? You can't just change the color of the Bears. You know what I'm talking about? And make them wear some shit that ain't their original colors.
Yeah.
You have to put it in there somewhere. And that's why I think the people are going wrong at, because first of all, in order, and I agree with Maurice, in order to be able to have some originality from Chicago and where this dance was started and created, you got to put some work in. And I would say, I really think for the people who don't want to put the work in, it's easy for them to say, well, why I got to look like that? Because damn it, that's what it is. Now you can take that and you can create.
Yeah.
But goddamn, if you're gonna step, it needs to have some type of originality to it. People should be able to look at your dance and say, "Oh, oh, he's stepping."
Goddamn right.
It don't matter how
you look like a bobsled team.
I mean,
exactly.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, of course, I got a long way to go, but I have to give credit to Cheryl, Sugarfoot Poe, when it comes to the dance. And she would make us look at other people dancing, and she'll say, pick out show me, let me see that you got a stepper's eye. Then she said, what they look like right now? They look like they getting down. She look at us like, what? Then she said, well, look at them over there. And they look totally different. She said, that's the dance. That ain't the dance. That is not the dance. I said, they're wrong. So look, that is not the dance.
When I was watching Maurice compete back in the days, he was so damn far ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
That's goddamn me why he won so much. They were trying to catch up because he switched styles on them. Yeah. But the thing is, what I'm talking about is competition. Yeah. It's so much different than dancing at the party. So another thing that I wanna, it's a lot of people. One thing you're gonna hear all the time, all the best dancers don't even compete. Okay, that might be so. But my thing is, I don't like that, because that's always a knock to the dancers who do compete. Because the thing about it is, you have great dancers that compete. And one thing I know for sure is that those are two different dances. Just because you can dance in that motherfucking corner at the club, don't mean that it'll transfer over to that dance floor, that stage. You understand what I'm saying? So I want to give the people who compete some credit. You don't have to be the best dancer, but you just got to put together the best 3 minutes on a competition night.
You better preach.
You understand what I'm saying? But that don't mean you ain't one of the best dancers in that club.
Reese want to say something. Reese, you on mute.
Oh, go ahead.
I totally agree with you 100% because I'm one of those individuals that have said for years, and I like that you gave credit to the people that are competing, because I have said for years, hey, listen here, we on this stage competing, but the people that I wish I could have competed against have not. They don't even dance. But that don't mean that even those people are competition dancers. Okay, and there's a difference between I wish we have competed in the club and then we can compete it on the stage, right? There's a big difference, right? So I applaud you for giving the people that are competing their due props, right? Because it is very much so completely different, and it has always been different from being on that stage dancing comparison to being in the club amongst your peers dancing. Everybody can't turn the switch on. Everybody don't know how to still be in their element and within the music and get out there and dance. Everybody don't know how to do that. So you are absolutely right. The one major thing that I would say about, again, and I've always said, because you are in the contest, don't feel like that you are above everybody else because you have won. Okay, remain humble and understand that that was your 3 minutes, as she just so eloquently said. Yeah, you got them 3 minutes this year. Keep working on your craft, because anybody and everybody knows the best still always have something to learn. That's how we keep getting better, and that's how you transcend from generation to generation.
Maurice. Oh my God, he just literally just gave the word.
Yes.
Right?
That's it.
Wow.
That's it. We missing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We missing that. We missing that.
You had suggested some things you and I had spoken about offline, Selwyn, about, okay, so you have all these contestants up on the stage, and we've been talking almost 2 hours, y'all, so I know we got to wrap this up. It's such a good conversation. I don't want to let you go. It's so good. But one of the things you were thinking about doing is getting people contest ready. You had so many people up there that have spent their money, got dresses made, picked out their music. They are the best people in their area that they community sent them up there to Chicago. And when we got there, they look crazy. Like they ain't ready to be up here. How do
Didn't
you
have the right training, teacher.
to be up there, and then when they don't look like they a joke.
Tika, they don't have the proper training, because it's different. Just because you take 100 privates trying to learn how to dance at the party, it's a total different training and understanding that you need on the stage. You got people that get up there and don't even know how to go around the stage. They don't know where to pick their point, where to dance at. They don't know. Listen, let me tell you how important experience is. I just danced Saturday on the stage with Royce, right? His experience on the floor kind of knocked and blocked me the whole performance. That's something that I learned from. You understand what I'm saying? But it comes from his 20 years of experience. So I'm concerned about dancing, staying engaged with my partner. When I looked at the video, shit, the judges ain't see me none. They ain't seen shit. You hear me? The people that matter, they ain't seen shit. Right? But what I'm saying is it's the experience that he had on the floor. And so I'm so busy trying to get away, I'm not dancing. I still think we did well.
Yes.
But I'm telling you, I noticed it from watching. That's the experience, right? So I mean, to me, that's my opinion.
You gotta work that flow. You gotta work that flow, baby.
Maurice got something to say. What you gotta say, Maurice?
Sell it. Bro, I am dying laughing over here because you are 100% right? Because I thought the same thing. I said, damn. And Selwyn, when I watched the video, I was saying to the video, Selwyn, go down the middle. Selwyn, go down the middle. Like I'm talking to you at the contest. Go down the middle, Selwyn.
Yeah.
But again, you are absolutely right. That was experience. Okay.
Yeah.
But again, like you guys are going to open up another 2 hours worth of conversation when you go. And this is the very reason why, and touching back on the young lady, what she said, this is the very reason why that's a whole nother subject, because that experience right there that needs to be taught. Again, this is why I have broken down. This is why there's difference between an instructor, a teacher, and a professor. Okay. And I will go on record and say there may be about 5 professors that have transcended 20 years worth of stepping that have taught in the stepping game, but there are numerous amount of instructors and there are quite a few teachers. Okay. That what you just said, you're only going to get from a professor. That's you're only going to get that from a professor, Selma.
And that's why you
unfortunately,
winners.
And unfortunately, and unfortunately, and I'll go back to where we started with this out of towners. Unfortunately, the watered down version for most out of towners is instructor/teacher level at best, and that's a lot of people's fault. But we ain't gonna get into that.
We're not, because we'll be on this thing. Hold on. What you got to say, sweetheart? Talk.
So, I mean, I don't know if this is not sinking in. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Everything that y'all are saying is still dancing around the fact that these competitors, y'all brought up the competitors. Okay, well, let's talk about the competitors. The competitors cannot be fairly judged if there's no set standards, because somebody just mentioned a lot of the judges don't even know what they're looking for. So just like there should be a set standard for the competitors putting in the time and all that, I hear all of that, and you're right. Same goes for the judge. It don't matter if it is all Chicago judges. If there's a set standard, like they may need some training in judging because they may not know what they're looking for. There should be a set standard for everybody. You're required to do this, and this for the judges. You're required to do this, and this for the competitors. The rules that are put out there, which I read, were not followed. Because how you going to tell me that I need to have my music turned in, but then my music don't get used? That makes no sense to me. This whole competition needs to be revamped because there's a lot of things in there that not makes for a contest. There should be some type of boot camp for the promoters of the competition so they can get this contest together the right way. And it's not going to be perfect, but it'll be way better than what it is. If there's a set standard, you like it or not. They went by the standard. They might be off by a little bit, but not a whole lot. But if they don't know what they're looking for, regardless if they are from Chicago or not, they're going to get it wrong and people going to have a problem with it. Just like with the competitors. If they don't know what is required of them other than these rules that were not followed, like you said, they need training on how to compete. That's not being done. There should be a set standard of what is required other than, oh, well, this is what you can do, but it's not clear. Because it's in the rules and you go by the rules, ain't no dispute. And that's why you have all these people in these comments livid about small things that could easily be fixed by what Pat said in the beginning. What we are looking for, this is what you have to do. If you don't incorporate this, regardless to, like he said at the bottom, everybody got their own style, but as long as it's under that umbrella and you do the requirements that is required for this category, there should be no problem. But that's not what's being done. And that's what people are complaining about. It don't matter if you're from the sun or the moon or the stars. If everything is the same and it's followed, and everybody is trained properly under this, whatever this set rules is going to be, it'll work out eventually. We'll get to the promised land. But right now, we lost at sea.
Pat, go ahead and say something. Hold on, Selma. Go ahead and say, you want to interject, Pat?
No, I understand what you're saying, and I even understand your when you're kind of watching it, especially the frustration that seems to stem from being sort of an imbalance in favor of the favorite dancers of this one city versus people that are calling great in other cities, because that's another variable that I'm not going to really go into, but there is people are being pumped up as though they're great, and then we're learning later, then really reading the judge's right, or you weren't really doing this, but you pumped me up when I was spinning through and these, red. I heard somebody actually tell a competitor they had to wear red.
What?
There are random stuff about what's going to be a variable when they're supposed to be reading the judges, so to speak. But to your and it's sort of the recurring theme here. How do you move it from so more objective? What are things that can be done? I look to the Olympics, some wheels you don't have to reinvent. Some wheels you can look at, we'll see, about subjectivity, and then understand what those artistic make them more objective. I am a fierce proponent with scores and averaging the rest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you're going to have 10 highest out, lowest out, average out the middle, and don't give a person give somebody a score of 9.5, which is the average of middle scores. That eliminates somebody. It doesn't eliminate all, but there's no way to the point. You can't ever eliminate all bias. Mm-hmm. But if you got a Russian judge judging ice dancer,
right,
and Russia and Ukraine are bad Ukrainian dancer, Russian judge is going to lowball Ukrainian dancer. Ukrainian judge is going to turn around
automatically
and
that's human nature.
The score of the Ukrainian dancer perceived to be the Russian bias. If they're hating the U.S. right now, or they're hating the inner bringing, like our black skaters had to deal with, and our black gym Olympics, they're too physical, they're not artistic, they're not true to the roots of this particular art form / sport, then there has to be a way to implicit bias. Mm-hmm. And one way to mitigate that bias is the throwout, average the ones in the middle. Mm-hmm. That way, if somebody inflated a score of somebody who did glaring and blatant and still somehow was on that podium, or like somebody who got like a 4 in appearance when they had exactly the same dress on as somebody who got, and they matched their partner. Those kind, you can't eliminate all bias, but you can impacts of bias. And to this point about, stepping in contests, and they was all packing heat, so you couldn't show a shot in the face or whatever that story is. Okay, well, whatever. I have a tool that I've been testing called Competition Suite. I'm not brought up. I'm just saying, Competition Suite is a software app. It's not expensive. Office app, and it has a judges app. The back of contestants' names, their numbers, their category, their criteria, these apps can see it. The judges can put their scores in, but shut it down so you can't alter somebody's score after their category is over with. And money, those scores will show show immediately above their heads. Highest and lowest can be in that. This ain't the only tool. There's tons of them. I've seen like 4 of them. Average score for that particular couple or partnership can appear up top. And it's quick. It's instantaneous. I don't think we should be dealing with. I think it's 2022. That's not necessary. Populating information. I shouldn't, as a judge, be required to remember that there's 2 couple number 23, and the other is couple number I can't remember because his number fell off his back halfway through the. We can get beyond that, and by enforcing those things and introduce things that keep it fair, there's still going to be people who are going to happen in any piece of art. There's going to be people, but let's eliminate issues, and then we can narrow it down to the things. And so that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you. I do want to ask this. There was a question that was posed that they wanted to question the panel about. Maurice, I'm going to direct it directly to you. How is it possible to judge 3 couples at one time?
I'm laughing at her in the background.
How is that humanly possible for me to look at 3 people at one time?
So I'm going to tell you this, right? So at the World's Dodgers at my last competition, when me and Dave Max tied for first in 2004, right? I said I was walking away from competing then. This was my major reason. The judges could not judge me anymore. I felt as though they couldn't even see half of the things that I was doing. So I was doing myself an injustice by allowing people that are not on my level to judge me. They can't even see half the things that I'm doing. They don't even see half the things that I'm doing on the floor. But understand.
And you up there dancing your ass off. You ain't looking at me.
But understand this, right? As with anything else, there are only certain individuals. See, when I look at and I'm gonna give you an example, right? That most people probably you never think about, right? I'm a different type of animal, right? I have dissected this dance for years. I look at the dance from a person when they first started dancing and I try to envision them 10 years later, right? So when I'm judging, I can look at 3 or 4 couples at a time and instantaneously from my eye and rhythm and what I understand, depict which person have got off and understand why they have gotten off. And the reason being is because I look at the dance in its totality and I break down the dance to its very minute possibility of what you're doing. Not everybody can do that. Not everybody has an eye to do that. And that goes along with being a professor in the dance. You can't possibly gather judging one person along with maybe judging 3 people at the same time if you can't understand the nuances and the do's and don'ts of, as we say, the original form of the dance. You can't do that. And if you are not an impartial person to begin with, yes, you're going to what your eye sees as, oh, that looks so nice. No, bro. I can look at that in its totality and give you and get an understanding. And in my mind, so this is what I do. When I'm judging the criteria for your dress style and all that, like, yeah, we can get that out the way in the beginning, right? I'm gonna take all three of them couples and I'm not gonna write down their points of what I'm scoring them until the dance is over. That's why you never see my pen going like this during the time that they're competing, because I'm looking at them in totality and I can remember what they are doing. 3 or 4 people on the stage at a time. I can remember that because I know what I'm looking for and I know what should be there. And again, that criteria needs to be set. And I agree with you. Like, hey, we need to have a boot camp for some of these. I get that. These are things that need to be worked on. But let me just say this. At this present time in which we're in, that's a lot to do from one year to the next. So if we're talking about we shutting this down until we get it right, or are you going to give yourself as much possibility of win, which means put as much in your tool bag as possible and learn what you need to learn and go out there and compete until you get to the point where you have enough. Because you can't just break it down. Hey, they ain't gonna stop the competition because XYZ is happening. It's not gonna happen. So we need to figure out better ways to do it. And I agree with Pat and everybody on this panel for what we're saying, but we have to implement that together. And it's not an overnight fix because again, there's too much objectivity to overcome in one short period of time. So we got to work on it and get better. Yes, we do. We need to do that and we can see it clearly. But there's not something that's going to happen overnight. We all have great points that can be given to, let's just say we give them to Pete. Now that has to be implemented because again, we're not just talking about judging. Now you're talking about their background, where they learn from, how they learn, who the people that are learning, the new people that are coming into dance, where they're learning. There's so many entities to this now that have to be addressed. It ain't just no judges.
No, it's way bigger than that. I mean, way bigger. And I don't know if there's one time or if there's a one answer, you know what I mean, fix. It's not that. I mean, because again, like I said, we'll be on this panel all night because there's so many levels, Miss Pat. There's so many levels to this. I mean, you can even throw in the fact that you have somebody that has migrated from Chicago, and let's just say they moved to Atlanta. Now they hustling everybody to pay this $10 at these dance classes. Now we thinking we getting the right stuff because we think you are the man because you're from Chicago and you ain't giving us nothing.
Right.
Nothing. But we think this is what you're supposed. You see? So what is? Oh, honey, us out of towners. Do we just need to move to Chicago? Is that the answer?
No.
It's not either.
No, because we value. I think Maurice is making a really great point. Is the way that I've had to implement things in the workplace. I'm 45 years in business, right? And I've had to change. I've had to make changes to lower, and the buts can get in the way. Buts can get in the way, but we can't. And I've had people push back on me about making change because we couldn't make. So what we can do is we can make incremental change. Just because we don't doesn't mean we can't implement some of the answers. And if the answer doesn't work, find it or get rid of it. Nothing is permanent because there's some things, just because we can't fix everything doesn't mean we can't fix the criteria. It doesn't mean that we can't implement technology where it doesn't exist right now in 2023. So no, we can't change all of these things before 2023, but we can change, and we can test that out, and we can even say, so that people don't doubt it, we're trying this in 2023. Get contestants and judges about how that worked. And then maybe tweak it a little bit if it was better, but not perfect. Better, but not great yet. people to begin to adapt to change, because that's the challenge. The challenge isn't the dance choreography. The challenge is resistance to change. And that's such a human thing.
Preach.
In every area of our lives, that's an issue. So, but solutions to that allow people to begin to embrace change incrementally. Yeah. Why not fix a couple of the things? What was that old business phrase that you used to use until I got exhausted with it? Pluck the low-hanging fruit and get those fixes in place.
Yeah.
All, without going any further than that, why can't we just do some of the things that create more objectivity and less subjectivity? And if they kind of work, if they kind of don't work,
throw them away.
We fix it or we get rid of it. That was garbage.
Right.
Media category. It was a trash category, right? But at least you got to give them credit for trying. Cry about why aren't mediocre dancers getting money, right? That's me saying that. That's not anybody else. I'm not a fan of reward and mediocrity, so I was resistant to that change. At the end of the day, I applaud them for trying it, for hearing the voices, trying it. They recognize, this ain't working. They got rid of it. It can revert back if you want, but at least try to do some things to make people feel up. But let's just make them feel that their voices are being heard.
Correct.
Make incremental change to improve the process.
I have to say,
and then they
agree.
To trust leadership. That's
well, what I would hope that it will happen is that the people that run the world's largest will take an opportunity to listen at this recap. The recap kind of turned a little bit differently than I thought it would go. It's great to me. I love the space that we're in. I love the fact that we can have a real conversation respectfully and come up with some great ideas. So hopefully they will take an opportunity to listen at it and try, like you said, to implement or reach out to you and reach out to Maurice and reach out to whoever and say, hey, tell me again what your thoughts were and let's try this little piece and see if it works. Because at the end of the day, this is the biggest stage that we have in our community at this time. And so since we seem to keep coming, now, we complain about it right when it's over. We complain for about 30 days. And then after about 30 days, we give about 6 more months, and then we'll be heading up. Girl, you get in the competition? We'll be right back to what we started from. You know what I mean? So I get it. So hopefully, they'll listen to what we've discussed tonight. I think we've had great conversation, even in the comments. Thank you, Kershaw, for actually reading some of the comments that people were saying. I think they're all valid. I think everything we've said, even from the Chicago natives to the out-of-towners, I think they're all very valid, and I don't think they should be overlooked. I think they make a lot of sense. Miss Pat, if you had to give people that are considering competing and people that are new to this dance and getting frustrated with the dance and just feeling all kind of ways, what would be a piece of advice that you would give them at this point?
Regarding the dance itself or competitive?
All of it. Like, should I compete?
Different.
They are two different thoughts. Give me an answer on both of them.
Yeah.
I've been drinking.
As far as the dance is concerned, I will speak from my own experience. People who have learned from me know they're going to hear this from me all the time. And I'm just, as a person, I don't know, as measured by somebody who's really deeply enmeshed versus me, which is, since 2000. I will say that no matter, I don't know if I'm a teacher, instructor, a guidance counselor, I don't know. But wherever I am on that spectrum, I teach them a way. I have never tried to teach them the way because I don't think there's any such. They know that I'm eliminating controversy by walking in the room. They understand because they say to me, but that's not what I learned here. And the reason they don't have to say that to me is because I never told way. This is another way. Add what they shared and what I shared to your arsenal. Or maybe you got 5 ways or whatever. So I think if students use their follower brain, and I'm being pretty harsh when I say it that way, but if you go to me, I want to learn this dance pattern, and I'm working with you, and I'm only teaching you this at the club. This is not what drew you to me. Speak up. Force me to earn the money that you pay me. Whether it's a workshop, a class, if I'm not giving you what you came for, you do not have to suffer in silence at me. Demand it. And if you can't demand it in words, because you don't have those or whatever it is you want, put a video in my face and say, if you can't teach me this, let me know. And if I can't teach you that, I should be honest and say, I don't have that skill. You have to go somewhere else, learn these others. And I think that for me, the biggest lesson I can give anybody, whether it's preparing to compete, is don't forget to use your voice. Speak up. You do not have to blindly follow. We say something that you don't agree with as an adult, that just tell me. That don't make no sense, Pat. Because before you came in the room, so still be grown. But you are not. I'm not a shepherd. You know, that's the one person I don't trust is a shepherd, because shepherds protect you from the wolf, but then they cut your head. So I'm careful about shepherds.
I love it.
Sorry. But you see
No,
what I'm saying?
I do. Thank you so much. Kirsch, listen. If you had to come in, we're on the outside. We're outside, right? Based on this panel tonight, based on this conversation tonight, and I know where your thought process is, because I think our processes are right there together. Based on what we've heard from these folks that's been in it longer than us, the other three people have been in it longer than us.
Not me.
How long you been dancing?
About 20.
Oh.
But finish.
Give the new people a reason to keep trying, a reason to keep doing this.
For the love of the dance. And eventually it's going to change. Like he said, it's not going to happen overnight, but it needs to happen. Like she mentioned, in increments. But if it doesn't happen, you're going to keep discouraging them. But for the love, I've been dancing since I could walk. I've trained my whole entire life to dance. So dancing is in my blood. And I'm going to continue to support something that I love. But everybody's not like me. So in order for them to continue to have the love for the dance, starting to listen and starting to make that change. But for the love of the dance, if you really love the dance and you can keep coming in and supporting it and putting your input in there, eventually they're going to change. You're going to get there eventually. It's not going to happen today. It might not happen tomorrow, but it will happen. If you love the dance that much, you can make it be what you need it to be.
You agree with that? Absolutely. Thank you, darling. You know I love you. One moment. Selwyn.
Yes.
Being a person that's been up there, this is your second time competing. You've been watching the dance since '89. One. I'm a man. And I go to classes and I feel like the instructor is catering to the women. Why should I keep trying to do this dance? And it seemed like they just want to cater to the women. Give me something that'll make me keep wanting to learn this dance.
Well, first of all, most of them do cater to the women. That's just the truth, okay? Because they don't understand how to cater to the men, because teaching the men is a lot harder. We have a bigger curve, you understand me, which takes more time, and then you got to deal with egos. So I would say to the men, and also to men that's trying to teach men, I think about 12 years ago, I realized that in order to teach these guys, I need to teach them just guys, no women. because I can communicate with them better, right? If you have somebody that'll help you or whatever, it's fine. If not, it's me. I could do the side too. But I can correct you if there's no women around. If you correct us with women around, we shut down. We may not leave, but we shut down. And then we don't come back because, my opinion, as men, we don't want to come to the party learning. We want to know when we get there. So I try to convince them that it's not microwavable for you. Your learning curve is a lot bigger, but it just takes consistency. And then how bad that you want it, right? How much time, like Reese say, that you want to put in it.
Yeah.
If you put the time in, you will gradually see the difference. So I encourage the men to go to the parties and get on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Now, what I have witnessed with most of the men that I've traveled almost everywhere, men are real slick. They want to dance with the ladies who they can tell something or teach on the floor. Ooh. They don't want to dance with the females where they can learn something on the floor.
Ooh,
so that's to me is where the problem is, because when I was so first of all, let me say this right quick to a lot of the people that's trying to learn this dance. First of all, pick somebody that you feel good about your spirit, and then have some conversations when it comes to teaching. If somebody want to teach you or they say they can do this and that, people love to tell you who they over, but you need to ask the questions, who you under.
Ooh,
you understand what I'm saying? Where did you come from? Where did you get it from?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just because you look good on the floor don't mean you can teach. So my thing was in 2007, I started going to Chicago with Daryl Davis and Donnie Davis, and I mean all of these people, ladies, I mean Angie Fain and all these. And you know why I was going? I wanted to learn how to teach the dance. That's how I was able to develop a dance while teaching. So I wanted to, and a lot of people think that's backwards. But if you learn to teach this dance, your physical dance will catch up. you know what I'm saying? If it happened to me, it can happen to other people, I feel like. So our men are real sensitive, but so important. I would love for the instructors to take more time with the men, because it takes more time. I've tried to do all men workshops all over. They don't show up because they've been put through so much stuff. They may stay a year, and then here comes somebody in these cities, they bring in 18 different instructors. So every time an instructor comes, some people make it that this is the way. My way is the way. See, when we be talking about a standard, it's still a standard for the basic of the dance. And then people create from there. But then they stuck on 1 through 8 for 3 years, and then here come somebody telling them, you need to dance. Shit, I thought I was dancing.
Right. I thought I was already dancing. Yeah. Yeah. You kind of.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
It was no numbers when I was watching the dance. People, and that's why I believe that the men that learned that way, you had to create a dance. You had to learn how to dance, lead, and do all of that shit at one time. So you know that it's just it's totally different now. But I would say to people, just be careful. Like any other thing, who you open your ear gates to.
Yeah.
Pick somebody that you feel. You know, the only thing you had to pick from back in the days was styles. Oh, I like the way he looked. And then you try to create from that. So my thing was Ice Ray, Claudel, People like those are the guys that I was watching. My favorite is Macaroni. That's who I try to take and I try to. He's my favorite entertainer. Do you understand? But
Claudel's his favorite.
Yeah, I mean the guys don't have a lot now from out of town because so when you go out of town, it's the influence that you have. When it was Dave Max, I saw 30 guys in Ohio look like Dave Max. I'm like, shit, what's going on? Then you take Tick, all the teaching that he's doing is something that I think a lot of the guys are missing. It's not for them to try to look exactly like him. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, Lord, that's a whole nother 3-hour show. I swear, that's a whole nother 3-hour show. I gotta go to bed. I'm tired.
Yeah. And they still can't look like Maurice because he's still ahead of the game. You know what I'm saying?
God,
so
dude.
I mean, it's just different. You know, if we can get the guys and you have to have certain people to teach the guys. If you don't have patience and if you don't know how to get through them with humor and do other things, because first of all, you got to get them to trust you to learn anything. So that's all I got. I just think we need to. So one more thing with me, Pat, what you was talking about in increments, my thing, what I want to do to give back to this game is to teach people. I want to teach people that want to learn and they want to compete. That's my way of giving back because I think we've got so far ahead with this word legend. I don't think a lot of people look it up in the dictionary. It's hard to be a legend in something and you ain't gave back shit. Ooh. That's just my thought on it. A legend is not no shit because you've been doing it 40 years. It's what you give back. Ooh. That's just me. It's just my thought.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to do what I can do to give back and to help, you know what I'm saying, to help it get better, man. I mean, because if we don't do that, it's probably going to be gone. We can't argue about how it's changing and what it looked like if we don't have enough people giving back to it. You know, a lot of people taking from it, you know, so we just got to give back. So, I mean, I'm going to try to do my part, hopefully.
That's an excellent point, man. The comments online are going crazy right now. They're just like, I mean, it's going crazy with what you're saying, Selwyn. Like it's needed. So, guys, please look forward to hearing more information about Selwyn. He and I have talked about that offline, about him offering that part of the dance that he feels that is missing is literally that little piece. How do you actually win a contest? How you prepare for this? What do we really need to be saying to the men? How do we get the men in the dance? What do we do? So Selwyn, please look forward to some more information about that. Selwyn and I are going to really try to build that part. And I encourage someone like a Maurice or whoever wants to get into this with Selwyn.
Yeah, I would love to have Maurice, Pat. I mean, whoever that would like to help. I want to go to different states and I want to start working with people, not in goddamn me July, January.
Right.
To start getting ready for September. Because I mean, that's what it takes. I mean, if you listen, when I get on the floor, I want to win. I mean, when I see Ross, I'm going to tackle him as soon as I see his ass. But getting in my way. I'm just.
Because he was in your way. God damn it, move out the way, Ross. Right, blocking my friend. You know he's short.
Listen,
that ain't right for my. He shouldn't have done that to you, Sil. But I'm
sorry. Competition means when you compete. I mean, if you have people that's not up there, first of all, to win, you know what I'm saying? Because that just makes the competition better. I mean, listen, you got me, I'm coming right back. I'm trying to get you. That's what it used to be. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. That's all I got.
Well, you sure can't win no Olympic gold medal with your high school coach.
Yeah.
You better go get you an Olympic gold medal coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, if you reach a ceiling, just go somewhere else. And that's another thing. You got these instructors that's holding these people. You don't need 2 years of basics.
Oh, but a lot of
To
times,
learn
and
your basics.
I know my management is going, girl, you've been on this phone for 2.5 hours. I said the phone. You've been on this phone for 2.5 hours. That's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother
I'm ready to go.
Because a lot of times that's all that instructor got is a basic. They ain't got nothing else. But anyway, I know we got to do a part 2, y'all. We got to do a part 2. I'm going to ask the tea sippers, do y'all want to hear a part 2 of this panel? We have a great panel here, and I hope all of them will be open to
it. Was
part
good.
2 because it's really, really
good.
good. You guys are open. Let me see your hand if you're open. You're open. You're open. You're open. Okay, very good. All right, Maurice. You're like in the old Baptist church. You're gonna bring it home, baby. You're gonna bring it home. You're gonna pray over it. You're gonna take up the last offering for the building fund. You're gonna bring it on home. Talk to us, baby. Talk to us. I want to know from you, with you being an elite and you have people that are natural dancers, how do you intend on B, what is your game plan to get younger people in the dance?
Well, everything that Selwyn said is actually spot on. It's something that I talk about often. So here's the very prevalent example. The reason why I competed this year was to do just that. I said walking into this, I'm not going to win in that aspect of the competition. It was for me to show that there is something more that we can have to offer, that we can bridge this gap, right? And that's going to come with gentlemen like Selwyn and myself giving back to the community, right? And how do we do that? First of all, we got to be accepting of that everybody not going to do it the same way. That's number one. 2, we do need to recognize, and I like the point about speaking out and having a voice, because the first thing that needs to happen is you need to go, just like you going when it's time to buy that house. Hey, you go do a walkthrough. You go through 10 criteria that the bank is asking you for. But when we get out in the street, we want to go to, all we see is the cover on the magazine. And we think we're going to read all the way through it. No, that ain't going to happen. So treat where you going to spend this next. And I said this before, you got people out here spending thousands of dollars trying to learn how to do something that has caught their eye. And we don't have the proper individuals taking them and properly leading them. Everybody's not a leader. And if you're not a leader, but you have something to give, then say, this is what I can give you. And then once we get to that end point, I need for you to go to somewhere else. Don't hold on to them because you're getting their spirit. And this is where we're getting lost at, not just in stepping, but everything we do as a culture. So again, you need to do your research. And if this is something that you want to do, find a person that you see, first of all, that you, hey, I like your style. Okay, but just because you like their style don't mean that they're going to be able to give you what you see them doing. Ask some questions, just like Selwyn said. Do some homework, do some research. Where did you come from? What's your background? First of all, do you talk to me with respect? I know you're good at what you do, but do you respect me? Or are you looking down on me as, hey, well, you can come to this class, I'm gonna take your money and everything. You know, you might be good as me, you might not. You need to have those conversations, period. And then move on from there. But as a collective, we need to embrace the young folks, right? People don't understand, like these young folks, they have something that's very good, right? They have drive, right? They just don't know how to drive the car. They have drive. They just don't know how to drive and where exactly they going, but they ready to go. So you have to be a person that understands, hey, you might not understand everything and how they come about, but if you can put something in them that's true, they can take us on over. Because we can't just keep thinking that these quote unquote legends are going to be here forever. And we can't keep separating the new generation out. Sooner or later, if you don't want this to die off, you're going to have some congruency with them. You're going to have some conversation with them. You're going to have some sets where they're involved. You're going to have to listen to some of their music if you want to understand where they at. You can't keep just shutting them out and then you want to go and try to tell them what they should be doing. Them days and times is gone. So do understand, we're going to have to come together one way or another. Either we're going to come together and mourn you, or we're going to come together and uplift some new people going on into the new era. It's going to happen one way or another. So my part in this is, and my part has always been, I love doing what I do. I can do it in my sleep. And it's only because I've been gifted to do so. And I don't take my gift lightly. And we need to get in our place. And you're right, Selman, it does. It's a different ball game when you're trying to teach people how to be competitive. Sometimes you need to get humble with them and let them know you were once who they were. Sometimes you just gotta come down and meet people where they're at. The men, we already know we're gonna deal with egos when we're dealing with these men. That's the reason why I changed what I was doing as it relates to men. I'll meet you where you at. Right?
Yeah.
If you don't want to break your dancing down and you want to be hard-headed, okay, so what would you rather have? Would you rather have a guy that's going against everything that you're doing and don't just think he on top and don't want to get better? Or do you want to say, hey, bro, I ain't trying to change your style of dancing. Let me just tweak some of these things for you. So at least for the woman, it's a better dance than you had last year.
Yeah.
You might not be the top dancer, but your dance is better than it was last year. Let me meet you where you at instead of trying to force you into doing what I think you should be doing. Take this in gradual steps. Everybody is not going to be the best dancer. Everybody ain't here to be the best dancer. Some people are here for recreation. Some people are here just to have something else to do. We need to understand where they're at and stop trying to force our beliefs onto them and where we think they should be. Then we'll have more people at these sets. We have more men coming in. We have more women that want to be bothered out here on the set, that want to have a good time. But we got to do it together. That's all I have.
Sean, let the church say amen. The church say amen. I need to see some amens in the comment section right now for Pastor Reese, because he just gave a whole word. Now you can cash out the collection to T Candy. I'm just telling you, because he don't need no money. Reese don't need no money, but T Candy needs some money. We just got back from Chicago. We ain't got no money. It's our anniversary, so we can give you, y'all can see your collection to us. I'm just saying, he just gave a whole entire word. Reese, you have got to take the opportunity to look back at these comments when you have time. People are like, oh my God, all four of you guys, people are completely feeling this. They're not just saying a part two. They saying they want a whole series of discussion with the same panel. It has been incredible tonight. I could not have asked for a better recap. My mind, it was going a totally different way, but as God always does, he steps in and he makes it the way he wants it to be. It literally, people may think, you know, that we try to plan in a certain way. No, my shows are so organic. They are not preconceived. They have no malice. They are just, you know what I mean? You know, I've had an amazing time. Have you had a good time, baby?
I've had a great time.
He's a man of very few words, but his few words are usually pretty powerful. But at any rate, we've had a great time tonight. Reese, before I let you go, please tell us about the event.
Well, you know, Fade to Black is coming. October 20th through the 23rd. ATL, all my peoples. We got a lot of people talking about it, you know, coming up. So, hey, go online, worldsteppersinc.com. You know, I definitely got to say, you want to be here for the fedora and fatigue, because it's a hip-hop and R&B. This is not just steppers. Bring everybody, because they're going to love this music. Saturday, listen here. The workshops with Taylor and Sherry Gordon, Taylor Raymond and Sherry Gordon, Drew Alexander and myself. The silent day party. Oh my God. The DJs, the Veil, Cross, Myron, Samsonite, all the DJs, Black Cool, Off the Chain. Also, Saturday night, you better get your sneakers on. Listen here. The sneaker ball on Saturday night is going down. We're crowning king and queen for the sneaker ball Saturday night. If you haven't been to the sneaker ball and got all dressed up and put on your cold Louboutins, your Chuck Taylors, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, put them on. It's gonna go down. And yes, we have the secret venue location, which is going to be revealed. That's correct. The secret venue location is going to be revealed. We're going out in style, right? So make sure you get your tickets again on worldsteppersinc.com for Fade to Black, October 20th through the 23rd. The third host hotel, I just got word today, they have given us an extension on the third hotel, which is the Canopy. So you go on the site and get that, because there's a lot of people from the contest and things like that that were still trying to get past that point and spending all that money in Chicago and still being able to travel. So thank you so much. Lady Tika, thanks so much. Candyman, I appreciate the panel. You guys are great. Selma, let's make sure we connect and keep pushing forward and all those good things. And let's always push forward as a group and understand that this panel that we had on here today, did you understand that there was no negativity at all in this panel? No negativity. We can have discussions together.
It was fantastic. I mean, it was fantastic. I need one of Pat's hugs right now because I'm so doggone excited.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you for making yourself available, Reese. People want to know the date of Fade to Black. Again, the date of Fade to Black is October 20th through the 23rd here in Atlanta, Georgia. Please go to his page. I'll start posting some stuff as well, so that way you guys will know what's happening. Myself and Pete are doing the hosting, so that's going to be fun. Him and I are linking back up again. We had a good time in Norfolk, Virginia with Damien, so that's going to be fun. So I'm looking forward to it. I am so. Let me stop smiling so big. Hold on. Okay, I am so freaking excited about everything that's going on. Everything. Life is great. Life is great. So again, thank you so much for our panel. Thank you for the ones that were not able to jump in. I am so sorry that I have kept my tea sippers for 3 hours. Can y'all believe we have been talking for 3 hours and I had to cut y'all butts off because we were finna talk a whole nother 3 hours. We got jobs. No, we got jobs. We gotta go to work. You know what I'm saying? So I have enjoyed this time with you guys. Y'all know I love you so much. Again, thank you to my esteemed panel. Please take an opportunity to read through the comments. I suggest all my panel members do that. And I think that's it, baby. Do you need anything else? You got anything else, baby? Nothing? It is our anniversary, honey. We got some things to do. We ain't finna be on no call with y'all all night, don't we, baby? We got things to do.
That's right, baby. Let's eat first, and then we can do all that other shit.
Anyway, I love y'all so much. Good night, T-Sippers. Listen, keep supporting the brand. We love you guys. Thank you so much. Bye. Y'all stay tuned. Y'all.